So the question is, will I be able to actually finish this whole recording tonight? I don't know because it's now getting a little bit later and I've been losing my voice and we're like only halfway through. So next up, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition. So it looks like I already have the Platinum Trophy and I love this game. This game is a lot of fun. It's not quite Borderlands 2 for me, but it's a lot of fun. So to get the Platinum Trophy, you have to complete all of the missions in the game. You have to jump on an enemy to death. You have to use, I believe this is all the different weapons and elemental types. You have to kill the 5 main bosses of the game. You have a miscellaneous driving trophy. An elemental artifact is pretty much unmissable. You have to level up all the way to level 40. I think you actually have to reach level 50. I don't know why that trophy's in a different part of it, though. You have to discover pretty much all of the locations in the game. There's level 50. Run over 25 enemies is very easy. 5 rack in 10 seconds is pretty much unmissable. $1 million is pretty much unmissable by the end of the game. Selling guns is very easy. The arena match and the duel and... Actually, I believe they put all of the co-op trophies together. Wow, that's kind of nice of them to actually make the trophy list be in a good order. So you have to win an arena match, which is going to require a second player / second controller. Win a duel against another player, again, going to require a second controller or another player. Same for reviving a co-op partner. Then you have to finish 15 missions in co-op, as well as defeat one of the game's 5 main bosses in co-op. I think I actually did this on a stream when I was first playing this game back in the day, back when I was still in Cincinnati. So you can do both of these, like with the first 15 missions in the game, as well as the first boss, and you can do it with 2 controllers, with the second one pretty much not even being active. But if you want to be playing through the game with a co-op partner, I highly recommend it because this game is a lot of fun to play with friends. It is absolutely worth playing with friends. And then this trophy used to be a viral trophy, but now all you have to do is just play in a lobby with at least 3 total people, or 4 people if you want to do it with 4 people. So very easy multiplayer trophy. Proficiency level 10 with any weapon is pretty difficult to miss. You have to get to a certain area of the map for this. Another duel trophy, so that one's actually out of order, but that's another co-op trophy or 2-player trophy. Then get kills with corrosive, shock, incendiary, and explosive weapons, all very, very easy. Equipping a class mod's pretty much unmissable. Rescue a bunch of claptraps. I think this is technically missable because you can sell the inventory upgrades, but just rescue enough of them to earn all the inventory slots and use them. Then you have your character-specific trophies, all 4 of which are very easy. So yeah, nothing much to worry about with the Platinum. The Platinum's really easy. Like, Borderlands 1's a fairly easy game, especially when it comes to the Platinum and just beating the game for your first time through. As for the DLCs, I had already done the Zombie Island of Dr. Ned. This one simply requires you to beat the story for 4 trophies and then complete a long side mission requiring you to kill a whole bunch of zombies, like over 400 of them. We'll come back to this special bit of hell in a minute. The Secret Armory of General Knox is actually a very good DLC. You're going to get 3 trophies here for beating the main story. Kromarax is the game's only raid boss and the first raid boss in the franchise. He is a little bit tough to kill. I definitely recommend going into this with a good team, or if you have someone maybe that has, like, I think there were modded weapons in the game that you could get people to have, that they brought them in from the PS3. That would be a good idea. The loot midgets are pretty easy, though. There's like 4 of them. Destroy a Lancer with a Racer isn't a problem. Level up a bunch of times is not too hard. There's easy ways to level up. You can fight the enemies in the Kromarax fight, or you can go back to one of the last areas of the game and kill the enemies that are always a couple levels above you. You have complete all of the missions in the Secret Armory, which is technically, I think this one can glitch, potentially, still in this version, so just be careful with this one. And then this one just requires you to spend a ton of money on the tour of the largest bullet. It's like $8 million or something. Claptrap's Robot Revolution is actually easier in the PS4 version. You're going to get 4 trophies from beating the story, or actually, hold on. Yeah, you're going to get four trophies from beating the story. You have to find the 6 Claptrap statues, which is very easy. That's not going to be a problem. Kill the inner... Then you have to complete a crazy request for Tannis, which is basically killing a bunch of claptraps and harvesting their body parts. None of that stuff is difficult. The more challenging parts come from these other collectibles, the oil cans, bobbleheads, 3D glasses, panties, fish in a bag, and pizzas, because they're completely random spawns. However, I believe that the spawn rate seems to have increased on the PS4 version. At least it felt like it did. It felt like it was a lot easier to farm these during that final boss fight. It took a lot less time. At least that's how it felt. Maybe it was just me, but that's definitely how it felt. So this DLC at least seemed to be a little bit easier. The real difficulty from this 100% obviously comes from Mad Moxie's Underdome Riot. This is terrible. This DLC had no right to exist on the PS4 version in the state that it was released in. So, completing the lesser challenges in all 3 Colosseums is not a problem. You can do it, in 45 minutes per Colosseum. It's not that big a deal. It's like 25 rounds, I think, per Colosseum. Easy enough. The problem comes from the larger challenges because they require you to survive 100 waves of enemies. Now, the thing is, it's not that it's difficult because you can exploit this by having 2 different controllers where one controller is a much lower rank, like your second controller is like a rank 10 or so or less, and you both jump in on that character and then you go in and just like absolutely destroy all the enemies. That's not the problem. Beating it's easy. It was easy to beat on the PS3, it was just really boring. The problem is this DLC is horrifically unstable and unplayable at times on the PS4, and it's only on the PS4. It's not on PC, it's not on Xbox. It's basically just a mess, because what'll happen is you'll get past round 15. Each round has 5 waves. You'll get to round 15 or so, and then it just becomes absolutely brutal because the game is prone to crashing. It's also prone to glitching out enemies. But it's mostly prone to crashing, where the game will crash on a high round and you have to start all over again because there's no real checkpoint system for these if you get booted out. So I remember what happened was I was able to get through the gully. I was able to get through it like first try back around the time the game came out, which was really lucky. But then I never really touched it again, hoping that they would fix it. They never did. They never concerned themselves with fixing it, even after I put in a Better Business Bureau request. One of 2 times I've done it, and the only of those 2 times where it didn't work out. So, 50-50, whatever. With this, I know that Helburbia and Angelic Ruins, at least one of those crashed on me on like round 19. One of them crashed on me on, I think, round 20, so it was just awful. The good thing was I was able to find partners with whom we were able to do the round skip glitch, which reduces the amount of kills and the amount of body parts on the screen. And without that, I'm not sure I would have been able to do this. So that was really, really lucky. I was able to find people that were able to do that. Mostly for Angelic Ruins. I was able to get Helburbia. It was awful, but I was able to get it done. But just this DLC is awful. It doesn't deserve to exist on the PS4. It should have been fixed. Why is the PS4 version the only one that's broken like that? I don't know how it plays on the PS5. Maybe you guys on the PS5 have it better. I don't know. Noir Chronicles City of Crime. This is another Artifex Mundi game. So you got 3 hidden objects in 3 seconds. All of the hidden object puzzles without a hint. You have to finish one in less than a minute, which is fine. Now this one's a little bit trickier because you do have to do one without a single mistake. And I believe this one had some fixed object puzzles where the objects are always in the same spot. But even so, you risk the issue of possibly clicking just a little bit off to where it doesn't count it properly. It's not hard. It's another easy Artifex Mundi game. I finished it, in a day or 24-hour time period. It's not hard, but it's a little bit annoying because you do run the risk of the game not registering your click correctly. So all the hidden object puzzles without a hint is a lot of your trophies. Then a minigame in under a minute and all the minigames without skipping is pretty typical for Artifex Mundi. Nothing much to worry about there. You have to find all the collectibles, which is not a problem. Then I believe these last few trophies through here are all story related. It looks like it with their percentages, so I'm going to assume that... Okay, I'm going to assume that all of them except for this one are story related. This one might be like a missable random trophy somewhere. Or it might be story related, but just out of order. But it's most... Okay, no, it's probably a missable trophy somewhere. And then you have to finish this one in Expert, but you don't have to do the bonus chapter, so that's kind of nice. Simple enough platinum, another, 2 to 4 hour Artifacts Monday game. Maybe just a little bit harder on the hidden object puzzles, but of course not too much to worry about. Next up, we did Daggerhood, the North American PS4 and Vita versions of the game. This was one of my least favorite Ratalaika games. I really didn't enjoy this one. It seems to be just me. A lot of people like this game. I didn't, but it only took me about half an hour to get through, which is good. So you have to kill an enemy and die, which are both unmissable. You have to complete 12 levels of the game, which isn't bad. Like, it's not completing the levels that's hard for the most part. It's collecting the collectibles. You have to find 10 fairies, which despawn after a short amount of time within the level, so you have to collect them very quickly. You also have to collect all of the treasures on 10 total levels and get 3 stars by finishing levels quickly. So you're probably going to have to replay the first 10 to 12 levels multiple times in order to obtain enough stars, treasures, and fairies to earn all of the trophies. I just didn't really like this game. I don't really like the controls. The music was kind of repetitive. Just not a game I was a big fan of. But, I mean, that was just me. A lot of people tend to think this game is okay, so I guess I'm kind of in a minority on that, but that was just my thoughts on this one. I mean, it's an easy platinum. It only takes half an hour, so it's not much to worry about. So with the Vita version, it looks like... Oh, did I get the Vita version done in, like, even less time? I did the Vita version in 18 minutes. Wow. Is that 18 minutes? Yeah, it looks like about 18 minutes. Surprised I did it that quickly. So, yeah, it's a very quick platinum. You can do it pretty quickly and pretty easily, just not one that I enjoyed. Next up, Fallout 76, finishing off that Fallout franchise. So, I got both the platinum and the 100% in 2020. So as for the platinum, you're going to get a bunch of trophies here from completing the main story. So everything through there, I believe, is main story from what I remember. You have to build a camp and build a bunch of items, which is extremely easy. Nothing much to worry about there. This is a series of side quests. There's about 5 side quests in this quest line. Personal Matters is a side quest. Queen of the Hunt is an event side quest. Monster Mash is an event side quest. Breach and Clear is an event side quest. Scorched Earth, despite how common this is now, it was a lot harder back when the game came out. Just because the Scorched Beast Queen was a lot harder to beat and the game was a lot more broken to where like she would glitch out a lot and just not be killable. Things would go wrong. But nowadays, if you go into this game, you can constantly find people, especially on double XP weekends, that are farming this event over and over again to get good items. So you're not going to have to put too much effort in if you just want to server hop these days, and you'll be able to knock this trophy out without a whole lot of trouble, even if you don't really even do much for the fight. So nothing much to worry about there. Then we have our first multiplayer trophy. You have to join 20 total teams. It has to be 20 different teams. It can be the same player, but it has to be different teams and potentially different lobbies. You can join a bunch of different players in a single lobby. I'd recommend just server hopping, inviting everyone in the lobby to join you, and once they join you, leave and go to another lobby and rinse and repeat until you get the trophy, unless you get it naturally because you've been playing with a co-op team. You have to craft 5 pieces of armor and a weapon, both very easy. You have to reach level 100. I believe there are a few other leveling trophies as well down here. Let's see. Yep. So you have to reach a total of level 100, which is a really, really big grind in this game. Even when there were like XP exploits in the game back when in the earlier days when it came out, it's still just a massive grind, and it's going to take many, many hours. It's going to take you probably over 100 hours to get the platinum in this game now, maybe even more than that, like maybe even like 150 to get the platinum plus whatever time it takes to get the DLC done. So that's pretty brutal, unless there are now XP farming methods, which there may be new methods at this point. Reading 20 magazines is easy as long as you can find them. Ground zero of a nuclear blast means you have to be pretty close to where a nuclear bomb hits when it goes off, so it requires some luck or some planning on your part to launch a nuke and then get to that spot quickly. Fully ranking a perk is very easy. Picking locks and terminals is easy. Modding weapons is easy. Completing 20 challenges is not a problem and probably pretty unmissable. Then you have another multiplayer trophy. You have to revive 20 players. If you're playing in co-op a lot, you're going to get this one easily. If not, you can boost it very quickly. Just let your partner go down and revive them. Possess 10,000 caps. You don't have to have all 10,000 at once, just 10,000 total across your character. Nothing difficult there. Playing a holotape game, as long as you can find a holotape, that's easy. Giant creatures are pretty easy. 100 locations is also pretty easy and pretty unmissable. Killing a wanted player and a total of 20 players, you're probably going to want to boost these now. I mean, you can kill a wanted player and a regular player easily, so those two trophies are easy. But grinding out 20 and potentially even killing a wanted player because of the way the system works, that the players in this game are usually pretty friendly. This game has a really, really good online community, which was surprising. Like, people are usually really friendly, usually willing to help out and give each other gear. It's a very positive community compared to like GTA 5 or something. So killing 20 players is very easy to do if you boost it, and I would recommend boosting it. It can be the same player 20 times. Killing 300 creatures is very easy. Gathering junk is very easy. Taking photos is just the photo mode. You can take the same photo 20 times. Collect a total of 10 bobbleheads. There's plenty of them across the wasteland. You can always server hop to find some of them. Leveling up, already talked about that, and I Am Become Death is the final quest. It can be a little bit challenging, and the game is prone to crashing when you get into that missile silo. So, yeah, that's terrible. But the main thing I worked on was the DLC, which is the Wastelanders DLC. It's the only one that has trophies, and I hope it's the only one that ever gets trophies, because as good as this DLC was with fixing some problems with the game, the DLC itself is not ideal for trophy hunters. You get, these two trophies are basically tutorial stuff, but then these are for completing the main story, and they are mutually exclusive, meaning you cannot get both of them on a single character. So that means you have to get all the way back to rank 20 and play all the way back through Wastelanders with a second character in order to complete the other side of this. So that's going to add like at least an extra 20 hours of playtime. And it really didn't need to be that way. Like, I don't really understand why they require you to do both sides of it when they're both basically the same. I mean, there's not really a lot of differences between the two faction sides. Then you have to complete the two ally quest lines, which are both pretty easy, but they're just designed to drain your caps with how much moving around you have to do. You have to become allies with both factions. Now, this is another very grindy trophy, though thankfully you can do both of these on the same character. You have to farm ally points, or whatever they're called, reputation points, and it just takes absolutely forever because the only real way to increase it quickly is by doing daily side quests, and you can only do those once a day. Well, Crater technically has 2, Foundation has 1, as far as I'm aware. There might be more now. So Crater would take like 60 days of just doing the side quest to level up. Foundation would take, I think, 50 to 60. Crater thankfully had a glitch back in the day that allowed you to level up really quickly. I don't know if it's still there, though. And then you have the gold bullion, which is really easy because you can actually just trade gold bullion for items, like trade it for the treasury bonds, or trade the treasury bonds for the bullion and then trade it back, and just repeatedly trade it back and forth. You just need to have earned 1,500 total, not 1,500 at once. So thankfully that's actually pretty easy, and that can get you some really good items if you farm it out. Next up, we have Mochi Mochi Boy. I did all 3 stacks of this, the North American PS4, European PS4, and North American PS Vita. So for this Platinum, this is a puzzle game where you're trying to like fill up entire screens or something with your character or whatever. I don't really remember, it's kind of weird. So you have to find a total of 6 slimes, which is going to be unmissable while playing the main story, which is this tower mode, where you're going to have to reach level 30. Now, the first like 20 levels are very easy. The remaining 10, you're definitely going to want to look at a guide for, but if you look at a guide for the whole thing, you can speed your whole process up a lot faster. You then have to reach level 3 on dungeon mode, which level 1 is always the same, but level 2 is always randomized, so you do have to complete 1 randomized level in order to reach level 3, which may take a couple of tries to get a good level for, but it's still very easy. I mean, this Platinum takes, 20 minutes to do. If you have a guide for those 30 levels, you're not going to have a problem unless you get extremely unlucky with the endless mode, whatever it's called, the dungeon mode. So this one took me 14 minutes, or hold on. Yeah, this one took about 14 minutes. and this one took around 18 minutes. So yeah, you can do this one in under 15 minutes if you're really fast about it. Not too difficult, definitely worth playing, decent little Ratalaika puzzle type game. Moving on. Sly 3. This was the final Sly Cooper game that I needed within the series. This is the Vita stack of Sly 3. I personally really like Sly 3. I actually find it to be one of the better games in the franchise. I know that that's a little bit of an uncommon opinion, but I like this game a lot. The worlds are fun to explore. It's got like naval battles and stuff that are pretty cool. So I like this game. So I beat this one in about 5 days. I remember I was actually playing this at work because at this point in time I was doing a job that was really kind of a joke overall. It gave me so much time to just sort of use technology how I wanted. So I brought my Vita with me and got this platinum trophy in, 5 days. So you're going to get a lot of trophies here just by beating the main story and purchasing a few items and collecting coins. That's how you're going to earn most of your trophies, just beating the story, purchasing certain items, and collecting a total number of coins. So that's how most of your trophies are going to unlock, and those are all pretty easy, so you're not going to have to worry too much about those. Most of the difficulty comes from obtaining the 100% in the game. The 2,500 coins is a bit of a grind. You can do it by fighting the pirate ships. That's the easiest way to do it. But the real difficulty comes from the 100% completion of the game, because this requires you to do all of the challenges in the game. Now, some of the challenges are rather easy, but they're usually condensed versions of parts of the main story, but with new additions to them, and some of them are very challenging and or sometimes a little bit unfair. Just between tight time limits, controls not being that great on Vita. So this is, I would argue, the hardest overall Sly game is the Vita version of Sly 3, just because the challenges don't always function that well on the Vita. But, I mean, it's maybe like a 3.5 out of 10, maybe a 4 out of 10 at most as a game. So, still below average in difficulty, and still a game that I enjoyed a lot. I would recommend, though, if you're going to play this version or Sly 3 at all, you better do the PS3 version. It's better, it's more fun, it's more playable. It was a little bit easier to get the platinum in as well. Next up, Papers, Please. I was so happy to see this game actually come to Vita after numerous years of them saying it was going to happen. I didn't get around to playing it, though, until 2020, even though it went free on PS Plus a couple years ago. I absolutely love this game. I played the crap out of this on PC. I got all the endings on PC to unlock the endless mode and everything. I did basically everything on the PC version. So this was really not a difficult 100% at all, because I knew sort of what to expect, though I didn't know exactly how to get every single token just out of memory. So a big chunk of the platinum 100%, is obtaining all of the different tokens from the different nations. So I believe it's 7 of them, and they each require you to do certain tasks. Like, I believe the Opera Stand token is the one you get from letting Georgie in for the first time. And like one of them, you have to let someone in so that he can go get revenge on somebody. Oftentimes it requires you to do things that would not be, that might be a little bit counterproductive to the whole loyal Arstotzkin person idea. So then you have a bunch of miscellaneous and ending-based trophies. I believe these are all actually ending trophies. Most of them are. So the EZIC documents, this is a fairly early ending in the game that you can get like midway through by turning over an EZIC item to the investigator. Not exactly a great ending. For this one, you have to kill the man in red, which I believe occurs around day 23 out of 30 or 31, however many days there are. It's another ending trophy. Then you have the 3 main endings of the game. Now, you don't have to do full playthroughs to fix all of these, because the EZIC stuff doesn't start appearing until about day 10. So you don't really have to worry too much. I would say, I think you want to do which order did I do it in? Yeah, you want to do the Glory to Arstotzka ending, so ending 20. You want to do that one first, because it requires you to ignore all EZIC tasks. Then, once you do that, you can reload a save from a few days earlier to get the Opera Stand ending, where you escape to Opera Stand. I don't know if you have to escape with your entire family for this trophy, or if you can just escape on your own. but I'd assume you have to escape with everyone, but I'm not entirely sure. And then you have the Ezek ending, which would require you to go back a good portion of the game and do the Ezek tasks. But basically get the 3 main endings, get a couple of other side endings, get all the tokens, and upgrade your apartment, which is relatively easy if you know how to manipulate the money system where you don't have to eat and have heat every day. So it's actually saves money in the long run. But yes, fantastic game. Absolutely love it. Would highly recommend playing. Definitely worth doing. Pretty easy, 100%. Next up, we have Paradox Soul. And actually, I'll go ahead and talk about all 3 versions of this, even though Call of Duty Ghosts is sandwiched in here. So I would have, of course, done the PS4 North American, the European PS4, and the North American Vita versions. This is a very easy platinum trophy, but I highly recommend a guide for this one just because the world layout and the map is really weird. So this one took about 40 minutes because the map setup is really kind of weird, but you just have to find a weapon and a suit and the map and the bombs, the electro weapon. You have to beat a couple of bosses. You have to kill every type of enemy in the early parts of the game. Then just a couple of boss trophies, and then destroy a locked terminal. The final trophy you're going to get is for reaching room 33, a little ways into the game, so you don't even have to come close to beating the game. You only have to beat 2 bosses and reach a specific room. I believe this is another Ratalaika game. So it's basically just explore the facility, find certain items, and pretty much kill every type of enemy that appears in the early part of the game. The second boss is a little bit tricky. The first boss is pretty easy. But overall, I mean, the game is very easy. It doesn't take too much time to figure out. Just as long as you have a guide showing you the map and where every room connects to, because it's a little bit confusing, then you're gonna be good to go. There's not really a whole lot more to say about this. I mean, it's another Ratalaika type game. So this version I did in 24 minutes. This version I did in 21 minutes. So 21 minutes was my fastest time. I'm sure people have done it faster though. So very quick and easy platinum if you follow a guide. Nothing much to worry about with this one. So now we can go back to Call of Duty Ghosts. This is the PS3 version. So the trophy list is actually identical between the PS3 and PS4 versions. So I'm not really going to go too much in depth into this. But this was the platinum I got all the way back in 2013, like a month or so after about a month after the game came out, or almost 2 months after. Then the DLCs are the same, except that some of the trophies do carry over between versions. So in this case, we have this trophy carried over, this trophy I believe carried over, okay, I'm trying to remember, something carried over. I'm pretty sure that the intel carries over on all 4 maps, and I'm pretty sure that the extra XP challenge, I believe that the online portion of it carries over between versions to where the only thing you have to do is destroy 1 hive on each DLC. I think that's what happens, but I could be wrong on that, so don't take my word for it, but I think that's what it is. But it looks like I did all of the, killing the breeder in less than 5 minutes on my first run through the whole map. The Venom X trophy did a little bit later on. Looks like we did the challenges in that run as well as the relics. So I must have had a really good group to do this with. So, I mean, it's not the hardest Call of Duty game, but it's certainly not the easiest. So I think that, is it this trophy? Yeah, this trophy actually carries over between versions, which is really nice. So yeah, it looks like the intel does carry over when you load up the 2 different versions, and it looks like this one, I think you just have to destroy 1 hive or 1 target on each map to auto-pop this if you've done it on 1 version, so that's really nice. But this trophy actually carries over, which definitely saves a little bit of time, and it's the same thing for this DLC where this trophy actually also carries over, presumably. So let's see, 621, no, maybe it... Okay, so yeah, that one carried over. No, I think it did carry over. Okay, so I think I'm correct on that they do carry over. Well, no. That was 6-4 and that was 621. So I don't even know, honestly. I feel like I thought some trophies carried over. I'd have to look back at my old trophy updates from, June of 2020 to confirm any of this. But, I mean, I did a lot of these DLCs within 1 or 2 days. I had a good group to do them with. It's the same as the PS4 version, but with trophy delay. That's really the only difference, is that there's a lot more trophy delay. Then I got platinum number 449 here with Pipe Push Paradise. Wouldn't really recommend this one because, like, completing the game isn't really that hard if you follow a guide. The only problem is that the game is glitchy and that trophies will glitch out on you for the most part. Like, usually at least one of these trophies, like this easy, medium, hard, or expert, will glitch on you. Either that or one of these will glitch on you. Let's see what my last trophy was. 810. So that one was 940. So the fourth area glitched on me. And it looks like the easy and medium levels also glitched on me. And the hard levels. So certain trophies will almost always glitch on you to where you basically are forced to do a second playthrough no matter what. So instead of being a 2-hour platinum, it's a 3-hour platinum because you have to replay the entirety of the main world. And then you also have to do the 2 extra islands, which has more puzzles. So yeah, I was not a fan of the fact that the game is glitchy. I mean, there's a difference between a game being, hard or something like that versus being just broken at times. And I'm just not a fan of that. Just make sure your trophies work, please. Minecraft PS4. So I am not going to go through all of this because many of the trophies have changed over the years, but it took me less than a month to get the Platinum trophy back in 2014. Then you had Expansion 1, which was the Wither and Beacon update that was done in 2016 over the course of about a month. Expansion 2 was a multiplayer DLC, also done in 2016. You had to boost this, though, was the easiest way. Expansion 3 was the Ender Dragon Respawn DLC, which I did over the course of a few weeks in 2017. Expansion 4 was a miscellaneous pack, which was one of the easier ones, though I think I used someone else's world for the map room trophy. Expansion 5 was another multiplayer DLC that you'd want to boost. Expansion 6 was the Elder Guardian and Sea Temple, as well as the llamas. This DLC was annoying, I remember, because like finding the evokers is annoying. Just to be able to get the Totem of Undying, the Shulker, this one right here, F this trophy. This one was horrible. I have actually carried a few other people through this trophy. It is terrible in many ways. It is a awful trophy. It should not have been in the game. And also neither should this one because it's completely random and completely luck-based as to whether or not you get the enchantment, even in the tutorial world. Expansion 7, this one was real easy. This was the aquatic update. This one I did in like an hour, no problem there. Expansion 8 was another ocean-based update, as well as the bamboo and the cats. The bamboo one, this one I think I actually jumped into Snickle's world for this one because at the time this DLC released, there was no specific biome for the pandas, which is really stupid. Expansion 9 was another sort of miscellaneous one, heavily ocean-related. 20 Stray Cats was awful. So yeah, not a fun DLC here. And this one was also like glitched or something, even though a lot of people have gotten it now. Expansion 10 was pretty easy. This is the raid update, so this one was actually not that bad at all. I did it all in one day. Nothing much to worry about there. Then, so the ones I would have gotten, Expansion 11 was the first one. So this was, I believe this one was actually part of the Bedrock update. Yeah, this one seems to have been. So this is where things changed for Minecraft. I am not a fan of the Bedrock update. It's made the game a lot less functional. So I'm glad that this game is not getting any more trophies on this version. I'm sure the PS5 version will eventually come out with trophies. And it'll probably have the one How Did We Get Here achievement advancement, which those of you who have played the PC version, you know what that is, and you know why we don't want it on PS5. The first few trophies are pretty easy if you have the items, actually so is this one and this one, but this is where it starts to get harder. Finding the treasure, the map from the cartographer to find the revealed structure. These are completely random as to whether or not you'll ever find them in any world or where they are in these giant worlds. Oh, and trading for 1,000 emeralds, yeah, that's terrible. You better hope that the duplication glitches are still there if you want to make this take any less than 5 hours. Expansion 12, this is another Bedrock update, but this one's really, really easy. This is the bee update. All 3 B trophies are easy. So is the Suspicious Stew. So this one's not really a problem at all. This one shouldn't give you any issue as long as you can find a beehive. And then finally, there was Expansion 13, which brought this up to 127 trophies. So I guess theoretically they could add one more trophy if they wanted, but that's pretty clearly not going to happen because it's been a full year pretty much since this DLC came out. And presumably we're going to get a PS5 version sooner rather than later. So this DLC was the upgraded Nether, or the changed Nether. So you had to toss gold to a piglin, which is fairly easy if you can find a piglin. Target block isn't a problem. The Nether biomes is a little bit random. It actually took me a while to get this one. And then I joined someone else's world for the Netherite armor because I didn't have the patience to do it myself. So yeah, that's Minecraft PS4. It's done. Hopefully forever. I mean, I'm sure the PS5 version will come out and I'll have to do that. Next up, Platinum number 350, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This game was so much fun to play. I loved every second of this. This game was awesome. I streamed the entire Platinum run over the course of about 5 streams. It only took me 5 days to do. It's a very easy Platinum if you played the game back in the day. Even if you didn't, it's still not that difficult. Basically, the entire trophy list is 100% the game. That's almost every trophy is just 100% the game. You have to destroy 100 robots as each of the 3 characters, which SpongeBob is natural. Patrick and Sandy, you might have to grind a little bit, but otherwise, every other trophy is basically done by 100%ing the game, which really isn't that bad, because this version of the game is actually way easier because they just made it a lot easier, aside from trading Mr. Krabs, which is really expensive. Everything else is a joke. Like, the final boss is a freaking joke in this version of the game. A lot of other sections of the game are a joke. Now, there is one other miscellaneous trophy for talking to Squidward 10 times throughout the game, which you could potentially miss, but you can always just go back and talk to him in his house or somewhere to get that trophy done. So just 100% the game, and kill 100 enemies with each character and talk to Squidward 10 times, and you get your Platinum. Fantastic game. Absolutely loved it. Definitely recommend playing this game. I'm actually kind of disappointed that there was never a DLC list for the multiplayer mode. I was kind of hoping that they would have done something, but then again, they could have made it awful. I don't think they would have, but maybe it was better that it's not there. But I mean, hopefully this gets like another trophy list on PS5. And THQ Nordic, where are the rest of the Nickelodeon games? You have 16 licenses. You've made 1. Where are the other 15? I mean, where are the Avatar games? Where are the Fairly OddParents games? The Jimmy Neutron games? The Tak and Power of Juju games? The Nicktoons Unite games? Where is all of them? The Rocket Power game? You know, where are all these games? When are you going to start releasing more of them? We want more of these old classic Nickelodeon games, please. That or another Destroy All Humans game, but we'll get to Destroy All Humans in a minute. GTA 5, I think I earned 1 trophy in, because I got the Platinum all the way back in 2018, so I think I earned like 1 or 2 trophies here, because let's see, Rockstar Editor was done in 2016. So yeah, I earned like 1 or 2 trophies in the Heist DLC in the past couple of years. This one right here for spending a total of $8 million, it's become a lot more helpful now that they give us a free $1 million every single month that we play the game until GTA 5 releases on PS5 in November now. I think it's confirmed for a November release. So yeah, that's the only trophy I got. It's just spend money. Quite simple. Although I guess I can mention, as for the other trophies, these 2 are for finishing the other heists. I've only ever gotten through the Prison Break heist, so these are for finishing the other 3 heists. And I also have to earn 25 Platinum Medals, but I only have 2 Platinum Medals left, so I'm not too worried about the Heist DLC. I know I'll be able to finish this one if I can just find a dedicated group that won't quit every time we fail, which has mostly been on me for being lazy. The Doomsday Heist is more of a problem. Setting it up isn't a problem because I got the money for it. You have to complete all 3 acts of the heist, which is very time-consuming, but again, if I have a group that's willing to do it, I know I can get through it. Same with this one, because I can just coordinate this with a boosting partner and get an instant kill, no problem with the orbital cannon, because it's very expensive to use. The difficulty comes from these 2 trophies, Elitist and Masterminds, for completing the 3 Elite and 3 Criminal Mastermind challenges. Unless I can get a really good carry through this, I don't see myself ever getting these 2 trophies, mostly because I'm just way too impatient to be able to do them. Because these require you to do things like not dying during any of the missions on the highest difficulty, and you have to do them with 2 players, 3 players, and 4 players. You get a lot of money for it, for sure, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's just not really something I'm interested in doing because it's going to be awful unless I can get carried through it. I'm just not that good at the game, and I'm not that patient at the game. But, you know, you never know. Maybe things will change in the future. Maybe, knowing Rockstar, they would put in the ability to buy the trophies with in-game money when GTA 5 comes out on PS5. I honestly wouldn't put it past them to do that. Next up, we have the North American version of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Fantastic game, absolutely worth playing. The only thing I didn't like about the game was the map design. The map is weird. I think most players agree that the map is weird. It took me about 15 days to get the platinum. Yeah, the map is weird. Like, the way the map is designed is weird and confusing, but everything else about the game is pretty good. So you have a miscellaneous trophy here for kicking Philip that's kicked you, but then you have to find all the collectibles in the game. There's a lot of chests and secrets to find throughout the world. They're all over the place. There's tons of them, dozens, maybe hundreds of them. 4 mysterious creatures, I want to say might be story related. The Jedi skills is fairly easy to get. Shouldn't have to worry much about that. Completing all the holo maps, I think, is going to come while finding all the collectibles, a trophy for completing the story, as well as a bunch more trophies for completing the story. So everything through there is going to be unlocked by just completing the main story, which isn't too terribly time consuming, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a fantastic game. Absolutely loved it. I mean, I love Star Wars. This game is great. It's absolutely worth playing if you're a fan. 50 kills with reflected blaster bolts is pretty easy. Parrying is pretty easy, though it might take a bit of grinding. Defeating an enemy using only kicks. There's only a few enemy types you can do this on, but it's not hard. 3 enemies with a single lightsaber throw. Nothing difficult there. There are places you can line it up. This one's a little bit finicky, I remember. It's not hard, but it's just a little bit weird with how you do it. I think you can do a lot of these in that training simulation mode, which thank God that didn't get trophies in it, because that would have been awful if you had to do like the challenges, like all the actual challenges in the combat arena. 20 enemies with explosives is easy. Enemy with a hacked droid is pretty much unmissable. Precision evading, you're probably going to get this one naturally. Sending enemies over the ledge, I mean, who doesn't want to do that? Just throw people over a ledge. This one is a very specific ability. It's a little bit grindy, but it's pretty easy. Throw an enemy into another enemy to kill them. Then hit an enemy with all 3 types of lightsaber. That's pretty easy. Most people have gotten that one, actually. Slicing off this Agato's tongue requires a very specific attack pattern with that enemy. The stem canisters are a collectible type. The terrarium is a collectible type that also takes time to grow. The crew is unmissable aside from like one character that you have to go and search for. But I mean, there's no missable trophies in the game. Everything's open world exploration after beating it. Collectible type, fully customize all parts of your lightsaber. Most people do that. Same with customizing the characters. Scanning all the enemy types is another collectible type. The bounty hunters are pretty unmissable. And the force echoes, there's way more than 75 in the game. So great game, absolutely worth playing. Do it. Next up, we have Reverie. This is the North American PS4 and Vita versions of the game. So the 2 versions are identical with trophies. I like this game a lot. This one is a bit of a hidden gem, one that I would definitely recommend trying out. It's a very easy platinum as well. So the trophies here, like, they're mostly just miscellaneous trophies, honestly. Just for exploring the world, talking to characters, moving items around, stuff like that. So you also have to find all of the different locations in the game. You have to win this micro pong game, which this gave me a little bit of trouble on the PS4 version. I had no problem with it on the Vita version, though. You have to collect all of the items in the game, which really isn't too difficult. You have to find, like, I guess, some kind of collectibles for this one. You have to enter all tiles on the world, complete the game. The bonus dungeon is the hardest part of the game overall, though, because it's basically an enemy gauntlet where you have to kill a whole bunch of enemies in rooms in a row. But it gave me a lot more trouble at first because I didn't even know until that point that you could carry healing items until I got to that boss fight or that bonus dungeon. So that was mostly on me for being dumb. Collecting all the feathers, there's about 20 of them in the game. Most of them are easy to find if you follow a guide. There are video guides out there for the entire game. Again, it's a game that's worth playing. It's fun. It's a bit of a Zelda Earthbound type of game. And then you have to find all of these different weapons and usable items. A few of them are acquired through other means. I don't remember exactly which ones are, but some of them are acquired through other means. I think the wheel shoes are one you actually have to buy. The cloak might be like a miscellaneous item that you get from, I think, from finding all the feathers, actually. You have to beat the main dungeons of the game, which is all very easy. So overall, the game's extremely easy until you get to that final dungeon, which is a little bit of a difficulty spike. But most of the trophies are just miscellaneous, simple stuff that shouldn't give you much of a problem. Star Wars Battlefront 2, I managed to finish both of the Battlefront games, which is something that I'm very proud of. So for this Platinum Trophy, it's pretty rare, but it's really not that hard. Like, this game was a lot more fun than I expected, and it's really not that hard of a Platinum. So you're going to get trophies here for completing all of the story missions. So all of those trophies are story related. Then you have a few miscellaneous trophies for... They're not really mission specific for the most part. Like this one you can do at any time. You can do it in like the very first mission of the game. 5 enemies at once using the barrage. You can do this in like the second mission of the game, I believe. That's probably the hardest of the miscellaneous trophies though. 8 starfighters in the skies of Jakku. That one is mission specific. And then a scout trooper with a melee takedown. There's a very good place to do that about halfway through the game. So the campaign stuff is very easy and nothing to worry about. The multiplayer still isn't that hard either. 25 multiplayer milestones, nothing to worry about there. You'll get it naturally. We'll get into level 50. You have to win a match of Starfighter Assault, nothing difficult there. You have to reach rank 50. That is the most time-consuming part of the multiplayer. But thankfully, you can do all of this in what is basically a co-op mode with just other random players and get XP through that. And you don't even really have to touch the online that much once you get some of the other miscellaneous trophies done. You can do most everything in that co-op mode, including rank to 50. And at the time I did the Platinum, there were a lot of double XP days and even triple XP on Wednesdays. So it was a super easy ranking up, and it was a lot of fun to do. Like, it was very enjoyable. Then there are miscellaneous trophies for each of the 4 classes. The 3 enemies with 1 Vanguard usage is a little bit tough. You're going to want to do this one for sure in the co-op mode. Boosting allies with officer commands is very easy. 150 kills with the heavy sentry is very easy. 25 headshots with long blaster rifles is very easy. It's really only this one that might give a little bit of trouble out of those, but it's still not too bad. Then you get to some of the actual multiplayer, though, and this is where things get a little tougher, because these are all Starfighter Assault trophies, these 3. The dual proton torpedo kills is annoying, and it takes time. The 20 kill streaks with interceptor ships is rather easy, because that just means 2 kills, and you can kill AI targets. You don't have to kill humans. This is the hardest trophy in the actual multiplayer, 25 hero ships with fighter ships. I suggest playing the Hero Starfighters mode, where most people spawn in as hero ships, so you can then kill yourself instantly, respawn as a fighter, and kill them that way. You might also be able to boost this one. There's about 16 battle scenarios, but they're all pretty easy. You just have to complete them once. Complete 1 arcade match, nothing difficult about that at all. 25 objectives in Starfighter Assault is very easy. As long as you do some damage to them, you should be good to go. Win a match of each game mode. Strike, Galactic Assault, and Blast. That's not going to be difficult at all. Even today, that shouldn't give you any problems. I did most of these trophies on like the same day. Defeat 50 enemies in Heroes vs. Villains. I think this used to be a little bit different, but it's pretty easy. I mean, it takes some time. You might die a lot. You might not be that good at this, but it's not hard. I mean, it's not going to give you much of a problem. Then, oh yeah, win a match of Heroes vs. Villains. There's another one. So you have to be the first one to defeat an enemy in a multiplayer match. I believe you can do this in the co-op mode as well, which is great. So pretty easy that way. This one you have to play as all of the launch heroes. You can do that in the Heroes vs. Villains mode without having to pay or do anything to unlock them. So nothing difficult there. You have to win a match on each multiplayer game mode, which you'll unlock with all those other trophies. And finally, 500 kills as a hero, which can be done in the co-op mode. So definitely use the co-op mode for a lot of those trophies. It makes it a lot more fun and a lot easier. Resurrection, this DLC is a joke in terms of difficulty. All you have to do is beat these 3 new DLC missions on the easiest difficulty. It takes about 2 hours, and you're good to go. Nothing to worry about there. Very easy, 100%, and not too difficult of a platinum. Very enjoyable. Next up, Nickelodeon Kart Racers. This is a game. It's a game. It's a racing game. It's not a good racing game. I was hoping it would be better. I thought it would at least be decent, but no, this game was pretty bad. Would not really recommend even to Nickelodeon fans. In order to get the Platinum Trophy, you have to win a race in a victory lap. I'll talk more about that later. You have to win all the cups in easy and normal mode, which is... it's easy, except that you actually don't have stacking trophies in this. So you have to beat all of the cups, win all the cups in easy, and then in medium, and then in hard. So you basically have to do 3 full playthroughs of the game, which is stupid. You have to use a boost for the first time, which is unmissable. 5 objects in a single race with boost. It's not too hard as long as you know that it's there. Play as each racer once. This trophy is highly glitched, so a lot of people end up having to do a little bit extra to make it unlock, but it's not that hard. It's one of these trophies is glitched. I think well, I don't know which one, but one of these 2 is glitched to where you have to do a workaround for it. Win at the last second. I'm not sure what qualifies as the last second, but it's not difficult, but it could require a little bit of luck to, overtake someone at the last second or let them get close enough to you. Activate all of the slime valves across the game. That's pretty easy, especially if you're struggling with it. I'm sure you could find a guide. Take down 3 enemies in a single race. That's pretty easy as long as you know the trophy's there and focus on it for one race. Use a custom power-up is unmissable. Then you have to use all the custom power-ups for all the racers. Like, I think every racer has their own custom power-up, so you just have to use all 12 of them because there's 12 racers. This one, I guess, could technically be missable if you set, like, world record times on your first playthrough of every map, but since that's most likely not going to happen, you just have to beat your record for the first time on every map. Or on a map, not every map. You have to do a co-op special attack, which is a little bit funky the way it works, and you are going to need 2 controllers to do this. Modify your kart once is easy. You have to compete in the arena and win 10 times in each arena mode. There's 3 different modes. These are all going to require 2 controllers, which is kind of dumb. They make you waste your time on that, but at least it's easy. You have to find a shortcut, which is easy. This one you have to ride over the slime a certain amount, I believe, which is pretty easy. You have to win all cups in expert mode, which is probably the hardest part of the game because expert's not that hard. Just the only problem is the enemy AI just rubber bands like crazy. They will just lock right onto you and speed right up to you out of nowhere. Now, I didn't have to replay any of the cups on any difficulty to win them, so I won every cup first time around, even if I didn't win every single race. The victory laps are done every time you level up, and this trophy is actually missable. To win the victory lap, you have to drive around the track for 60 seconds and hit 4 boxes. It's pretty tough to miss, but if you weren't paying attention, you could miss it, and then you'd have to restart. And by the time, so it took me until my final couple of cups in expert mode to win 9 victory laps. So if you're perfect in the racing aspect of it, winning the cups, you will get this trophy right around the end of that. And then you just have to purchase all the upgrades, which is going to come right around that same time by grinding out coins as needed. I haven't done the second game yet. Don't know if I will. But, I mean, it's an easy platinum. It's just not really that enjoyable. I hope the second one's better. Neon Junctions. Here is that North American PS4 and PS Vita version that I was wondering about. This is exactly the same as the European version, just complete the entire game, spend 3 minutes on a level, finish the final level in under 10 seconds, do one of the early levels by collecting 99 cubes as well as finishing it with 49. The electricity one that I'm pretty sure is an unmissable story-related trophy, and fall off the map once. Very simple, nothing to worry about with this game. I wonder how long it took me. So this one took me just over an hour. This one took me just under an hour, so you can do it in an hour. Overcooked. I love this game and this franchise. Please give us more games. I own like 3 Overcooked plushes now. I freaking love this franchise. I don't know why, I just absolutely love this franchise. Me and my girlfriend have played through both games. Me and my friends have played through the first one. Absolutely love this game. really hope to see another one in the future, though I know that they just released the all-you-can-eat edition, so it might be another year or so until we see another one. So this 100% is relatively easy overall, so you have to complete, like, every trophy through here every trophy through here except for this one are going to be earned by simply completing the story for the first time, which is not terribly difficult. However, this trophy is a little bit tough. 3 stars in every kitchen is a bit challenging. Some of the kitchens are pretty tough. I actually wrote a trophy guide for this game. It's on PSN Profiles. Please go check it out if you are struggling. Hopefully it can help. It actually got nominated for Guide of the Year last year for one of the categories, so definitely go check it out. But most of the trophies are going to be unmissable story related. I actually played this on an alt account at first, but me and Blair got through this in about 5 hours. So a little bit over... Hold on, let's see. Yeah, it took us just a little bit over 5 hours. Most of it was done in co-op, but not all of it. So yeah, it took us about 5 hours to beat it. You can certainly do it faster, though, if you're better at the game. There's a few really difficult kitchens later on. You have to complete a kitchen in versus mode, which is going to require 2 controllers. So that's easy, just requires 2 controllers. And just extinguish 1 burning kitchen, which if you don't get this naturally, then you're pretty good at the game. Destroy All Humans, PS4. We finally got the remake of the original Destroy All Humans. It did not disappoint. It was a very fun game. I was a little bit more of a fan of SpongeBob, but this game was awesome. It took 6 days to platinum. I streamed the entirety of the playthrough except for going back for the challenges and collectibles. So for this platinum trophy, you're going to get a bunch of trophies here just by completing the main story. So those are all story related. Then you have to upgrade Crypto and the Saucer, which is highly recommended to fully upgrade by the end of all of this. You have to revisit a missionless invasion site to complete a challenge, which is pretty much unmissable while going for all challenges. Try a new look for Crypto, revisit a mission. You have a whole lot of really easy miscellaneous trophies, some of which are going to be story related anyway. Harvest a Furon probe. There's over 150 of them in the game. You only have to find one in this version, though I recommend finding most of them just because they will get you a lot of extra DNA to upgrade with. But most of the trophies in this game are pretty much unmissable and or story-related trophies that you're going to get by the time you finish the game. So not much to worry about pretty much through here. You're probably not going to have any trouble getting any of these trophies. Maybe... this one you might have a little bit more trouble. It's still not that hard though. I mean, it's super easy for the most part. Then you get to some miscellaneous trophies, which requires you. This one you have to jump through the giant donut in Santa Modesta. This one you have to throw a human into the water in Santa Modesta. This one you have to attempt to abduct a cow. So those are all various miscellaneous ones. This one you have to set something on fire and use it to destroy a human, which there's certain places you can do this. Another easy trophy. This is a story-related trophy. This is a story-related trophy. Now you get to the challenges, though. This is where the difficulty from the game comes in. This is what makes it the most difficult to Destroy All Humans games currently out. You have to complete all 20 challenges, or I think it's 24 challenges in the game, with a 3-star ranking. There's Abduction, Race, Rampage, and Armageddon. Armageddon challenges are super easy as they are done in the Saucer, and getting 3 stars in all of them is very easy. The Racing is annoying. The Abduction is annoying. The Rampage is annoying. And you have to... Oh yeah, you also have to fully upgrade a branch of a weapon or ability, but you're probably going to fully upgrade all weapons. Acing all the challenges is by far the hardest trophy in the game because it's just not a fun experience. Some of these challenges are pretty brutal. You're going to probably want to watch video guides for some of them just because they're very tight on their score and time limits and can be just a little bit annoying and a little bit random at times. So with like where the humans and stuff spawn at for them. I mean, half of them are fairly easy, but the other half are going to be a lot more difficult. So... just be ready for a bit of frustration with this. You also have to complete all optional mission objectives. This is a new feature. Thankfully, it's not missable, though, which you can do by replaying missions. But you have to complete bonus mission objectives. Most of these are easy, but there are a few that are tougher. There's a few missions where they're pretty tough. I can't remember if you have to do all of them in a single run. I don't know if you have to or not. You might not have to, but I can't really remember. And finally, this is another story-related trophy. So I love this game. Really would love to see a Destroy All Humans 2 remake, or preferably ports of Big Willy Unleashed and Path of the Furon, and a new game someday. Hint, hint there, THQ Nordic. Give us that. We want it. We deserve it. It's been too long. Just a Phrase by Palgi. Another Palgi game. I really don't... Wait, was this the one that I already talked about? No, we have not talked about this one yet. I don't even remember what this one was, honestly. I mean, it's an easy one, clearly. It took like an hour and 15-ish minutes probably to do. So it's one where you had to guess specific letters again. It didn't take long though, so I mean it took an hour, 15, hour and a half. It's one of the not terribly long. So just basically, as with most Palgi games, follow a guide, you'll get your platinum with very little effort. There's not really much to worry about, not really much more to say. But you do have to complete all of the puzzles in this one. There's like 120 presumably, so you do have to complete a lot of puzzles. You have to complete at least one of them twice and find all the letters and stuff in them. Like I said, I don't remember this game at all. A lot of the Palgi games kind of blend together at this point. So sorry if that's not more detail, but that's just kind of how it is. The Vita version's the same way. I don't think this one had any glitch trophies or anything like that. Planet of the Apes: The Last Frontier. This would have been the European version of the game. I did the North American version a while back. The first playthrough is fun. Subsequent playthroughs are terrible because you can't skip any dialogue or cutscenes in these games. So, I mean, I got the platinum in like a week, but it's so boring. It takes like 12 hours because you have to beat the game 3 times plus have some backup saves. So, this is one of the endings. This is the best ending that you're going to go for on your first playthrough. These are both other endings than you. These are all endings. There's a bunch of ending-related trophies. You get a few story-related trophies through here that you're going to get no matter what. And then all of the other decisions are based on dialogue choices you make throughout the game. Basically, the entirety of this game comes down to picking one of 2 dialogue options or choosing whether or not to hit a button to do an action. If you follow a guide, the platinum is insanely easy. You have infinite time to make your picks, except for when it's like press the button. Dialogue choices, you have unlimited time. It's super easy, very not a challenging platinum at all. It's a time-consuming one. It's just not really that fun to play. Next up, we've got a triple stack here of football game for the North American PS4, North American Vita, and EU PS4. This was an odd game where I'm still not entirely sure what the ending represented, if he like killed himself or what. You'll understand more if you play the game. But this is around a 20 to 30 minute platinum trophy on all versions. It's very, very easy if you follow a guide. So this one, you have to hide beer bottles at the beginning. I believe this is a story-related trophy. I think you have to find a specific item for this one. This one, you have to give your mom a cup of tea at the beginning. This one, I think, might be story-related. This one might be story-related. This one's story-related, I believe. That's story-related. That one, these are all like memories that you have to view. I can't remember if you have to view all of them, if all of them are unmissable, or if you might be able to skip some of them. I don't really remember. It's been a while since I played the game, but as long as you follow a guide, there's not really much more to say about this game. Also, the mixed tapes, you have 3 chances to play the 2 tapes, so make sure that you play each of them at least once. But I believe a lot of the trophies are story-related, and a few of them are missable and miscellaneous actions. So this one, 324, was that the first trophy I earned? Yep, so that looks like it's the first trophy in the game. So this one took about 35 minutes. The Vita version took 26 minutes. And this version took 35 minutes. Huh, okay. So, I mean, it's still, it's a quick and easy platinum trophy. It's not going to cause any problems to most players. Next up, Battlefield 3. Went back and finally cleaned this platinum up. It has been a long time coming. as I started this game in 2011, so it took me 9 years to get the Platinum Trophy, mostly because I just didn't feel like going back to it. So this Platinum Trophy is basically complete the story and complete miscellaneous actions in every mission. Now, I did pretty much all the story stuff back in the day, because most of the story stuff's pretty easy. It's just a lot of miscellaneous trophies and completing the campaign. Now, this was, of course, the last trophy I got, completed going hunting in a perfect run. This one is normally difficult, but what you can do is you can line up a video of the mission, like from PowerPix or somebody, and sync it up exactly to your playing and hit the buttons at the exact same time, and it'll work most every time. That's what I did. It only took 2 tries, which is good because it's annoying otherwise, because you have to watch the cutscene at the beginning. This one also took me until 2020 to get, mostly because I was just kind of lazy about going back for it. Or maybe that was the last trophy I got. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I did going hunting last. Okay. So yeah, this one it's not that hard, but if you like die at any point at the end of the mission, it voids the trophy, which is stupid. You have to complete the campaign, or you have to beat the final boss flawlessly, which has to do with like quick time events and stuff. But you also have to beat the campaign on hard, which really isn't that bad. It's not that hard of a campaign. It's not the easiest in the world, but it's really not that hard. If you're experienced with Call of Duty, you're not going to have any problem with this. Then we get to the co-op mission trophies, which I had not done yet. There's 6 co-op missions, so you have to complete hit and run without going into a man-down state, which is fairly easy on the easiest difficulty. Complete all the missions, unlock all the weapons, which is going to come naturally while finishing the missions. Complete the Humvee mission without losing one. Disarm the bomb in 20 seconds on 11th hour. I did that a long time ago. We have a stealth trophy here on drop them like liquid, so that's a stealth trophy. You have to... This one I did a long time ago, just with someone who was really good at piloting a helicopter. Complete all the missions on hard is... It's a little tricky because there are some tough parts of some of these missions, but for the most part, it's nothing unreasonable. It's like Spec Ops missions pretty much. And then another stealth-related trophy, though this one's shorter, this one's earlier. It was mainly the multiplayer that I didn't have done, but you can actually boost every bit of this game's multiplayer. All of the ribbons, of which one of them requires 5 people because you have to squad wipe an enemy team or an enemy squad twice in a single match. But everything else, all the other ribbons are pretty easy to boost, and a lot of them can be boosted with a total of 4 people or a total of 4 PS3s in a rented server. So feel free to rent a server. It costs like $5 for a week. It's absolutely worth doing. You have to get 3rd MVP, 2nd MVP, and MVP in a match, which you can obviously boost. Another ribbon trophy here. Level 45 takes a while to grind to, but there are very easy methods to do it if you have that 4-player group of actual players. This is for getting a melee kill on someone, but of course if you're struggling with it, boost it. Simple enough. Then you have the DLC trophies. Back to Karkland, this is one of the tougher ones. You have to get a kill with an assault rifle, jet, and tank in a single life, which is not the easiest thing in the world if you're not good at piloting a jet, but you can boost it. You have to get a kill with each of those 3 vehicles, which isn't too difficult, especially since you can boost it. You have to get 10 kills with each Back to Karkland weapon, but you don't have to complete the assignments to unlock them if you just want to have someone drop them for you. A kill with the skid loader is very easy, especially when boosting, and jumping in the Oman Hotel swimming pool is also very easy, but you're going to have to do it in a rented server because no one plays the map anymore. Close Quarters, this is another tougher DLC. Conquest Domination Round, I don't think it's too hard. That mode might still be populated. You have to get a kill with a carbine pistol and rocket launcher in 1 life, which is easy when boosting. Jump off the side of Zeba Tower, easy, but hard to find the map type, or the map. 10 kills with each of the 10 close quarters weapons, unless someone drops them for you. This one's going to take a very long time to get, because 10 kills with each of those weapons is going to take a while, and they can be a little bit tough to unlock. You can do them in Gunmaster, but that's not really the most efficient idea, which Gun Game is basically, or Gunmaster is Gun Game from Call of Duty, but with 2 kills per weapon, so that's a decent way to farm that if you don't want to do the assignments. Armored Kill isn't too bad. You have to get a kill with the gunship, a kill with the quad bike, which are both fairly easy, especially when boosting once again. 10 kills with each of the tank destroyers and mobile artillery, so that's a total of 40 kills. Again, boost it. That's really all I can say about this game, is you're going to want to boost it because the multiplayer is pretty dead. I mean, it's still somewhat populated, though, which is nice. I feel like we might get a remake of this someday. Win a round of tank superiority, that's pretty easy. Again, boost it. And destroy the gunship, which I think you have to do with, like, that mobile artillery or something on a specific map. Aftermath, this one is another fairly time-consuming one. The secret reptile is easy to find. It's a map-specific trophy. Scavenger trophy is very easy. Just run around the map and keep picking up weapons in the scavenger game mode. But then you have the Expo trophies. These actually require you to do the assignments, and one or two of them are a little bit trickier. But once you get the Expo, you just have to destroy an enemy vehicle with it, as well as get a kill with the Expo, primary weapon, and handgun in one life. Or hand grenade, my bad. So, I mean, it's not hard if you boost it, once again, but it does take some time to get through. It's one of the more time-consuming DLCs. Endgame, I think, is the easiest one, actually. You just have to transport a flag carrier in an air vehicle, which, I mean, they don't control that well, but boosting. Capture a single flag, get a kill from the passenger cart on a motorcycle or passenger seat, destroy an air vehicle with an AA gun, AA Jeep, and kill an enemy with a paradrop vehicle. So that DLC is very easy. Again, it's highly recommended that you do all of this by boosting in a rented server. That is going to make your life so much easier if you do it that way. I can't recommend it enough. It is a fantastic way to get through that game. I'm going to take one more break, and then we should be back for the final set of trophies. Let's see. I don't think there's... yeah, there's not too many left, so probably one more recording. So this is now basically the fourth recording during this whole session. This is actually being recorded on a separate day. This is going to end up being like a 4-hour long video or two 2-hour long videos. Anyway, the next game I want to talk about is The Outer Worlds. This is a fantastic game. It's made by Obsidian, the developers of Fallout New Vegas. The game is awesome. The main problem is I've just never really had the time to just straight up sit down and play through the game for a few weeks straight, just focusing on it, which is something I think I would need to do, because I did that for Fallout 3 and I did that for New Vegas, and I even did that for Fallout 4. Just never really have had the chance to do it for this game. But so far, in terms of the trophies, I have recruited a companion, killed a mega creature, both of which are easy. Overall, the Platinum Trophy is not that hard, by the way, but it is a little bit time-consuming, and there are quite a few missable things. So, 75% or higher positive reputation with 3 factions, that's pretty tough to miss while you're playing through the game. 3 flaws are things that you get randomly throughout the game. You have to pick as to whether or not you actually want to take them. Finishing a companion quest line, I think you have to finish all 6 companion quest lines anyway, so that's pretty tough to miss. Then you have to have the bonuses for meat, carbs, sugary drink, caffeine, and alcohol all at once by just taking various food and drink items. Pretty easy, actually. You have to recruit all 6 companions, and then you have some story-related trophies. Overall, oh yeah, and this is a missable trophy, I believe, but I actually got it done, so it's one of the missable trophies out of the way, which is good. But, I mean, overall, the Platinum's not that hard because you can speed run the game like crazy, even on the highest difficulty if you build a specific character. But I just really need to sit down and spend some time just playing and enjoying this game because I know that I would, and I know that that's what I kind of need to do just to really get the full experience for it. Now, I have not touched the DLCs. I have very little knowledge on the DLCs. I don't even think there are guides for either of them yet. I'll assume that neither of them are particularly hard, but they might have missable trophies, so you're going to want to have a lot of backup saves. Terminator Resistance. Play this game. It's shockingly good. I had a lot more fun with this game than I ever would have imagined. I mean, Terminator Salvation is a decent game, but this game is actually fun, is the thing. Like, I actually really enjoyed this one. It's semi-open world on some levels. It's got some customization and other options, RPG-type elements. It's a fun game. It is absolutely worth playing, and it now has a PS5 version as well, which I will eventually do. Destroying a T-800 is pretty much unmissable, as well as destroying one by shooting its fuel tank. That's the best way to kill them. Hacking devices, including a turret, are both very easy. Upgrading your weapon is going to come pretty much naturally. This one I think you get a little bit later in the story, like at a specific time while you're in the resistance base, so be a little bit careful on that one. The good photo, I don't really remember if that has to be done in like a photo mode or if that's just a side quest or not. I think it's just a normal thing though. I don't think it's something that you have to do in like a side mission. Completing a side objective is very easy. Opening locks is easy. Crafting items isn't a problem. Notes, there are like 42 of them or something in the game. Maybe not that many, but there's quite a few notes and you only have to find, I think, one total, which is fine, so very easy. I ended up finding like over 20 of them just playing naturally and for fun. This is the only highly missable trophy bit because it requires you to have your lockpick skill completely maxed out when you go to the Pasadena level. So make sure that it's maxed out before you finish that level so you can go in and unlock the door. It is the only highly missable trophy in the game. Everything else really isn't a problem. Kill an enemy with a hacked turret is pretty easy. Killing a Terminator with a termination knife is basically a melee attack. And you can do everything on the easiest difficulty, by the way. Just thought I'd point that out. Skynet outposts are only in a few areas, so just clear one of them and you're good to go. Destroying the T-47, this is a mission-specific trophy, but you can go back and chapter select this one. The 5 side missions isn't really a problem. Same with the 10 notes. Again, there's plenty of both of those to where you really shouldn't have to worry too much about missing them. And then you have a bunch of story-related trophies just for completing the game. Very worth playing, highly recommended. Definitely try this one out if you are a fan of the franchise. And the game itself is really not that bad, especially if you can just rent it for a cheap price. Next up, we have the Metagal triple stack, so the North American PS4, European PS4, and North American PS Vita versions of the game. I was not the biggest fan of this one. It's sort of a Mega Man type game, so you have to watch the intro without skipping and then complete the tutorial level. Nothing to worry about with those 2 trophies. And then collecting gears, these are pretty easy to find throughout the levels. You're not going to have much of a problem with that. You're going to die at least once. That's not a problem at all. Falling off a level is very easy, as well as dying by spikes. Those are both very easy trophies. You can do them on that one level that you're going to actually have to complete. Rebirthing with the gear, because the gears actually give you like an extra life, so you just have to rebirth with one at some point. You'll probably get that one naturally. If not, you can obviously just reload that first level and get a gear, die, and respawn with it. Reaching a checkpoint is going to be earned naturally while playing through the first level, and then defeating any of the Gal sisters is going to be earned by completing one level of the game. So basically, complete one level of the game, die in a few specific ways, and collect a total of 3 gears in your inventory at once, and you will get the Platinum Trophy. So you can do this Platinum in 30 minutes. You can do it in far less than that. This version seems to have taken me approximately 37 minutes, but you can certainly do it faster. This version took me only 13 minutes. Wow, okay, so I actually did that really fast. So 13 minutes to get this version. And the Vita version took me also 13 minutes. So you can do this in under 15 minutes as long as you have a decent run of the boss fight. The level itself isn't a problem, but the boss fight can be just a little bit tricky and a little bit unfair at times. Not the easiest Rattle Lake game, but still pretty easy overall and still, you know, under half an hour. So nothing much to worry about there. Word Maze by Palgi, the North American PS4 and Vita versions. This Palgi game I actually do remember because you're going to get like a big grid, like a 4x4, 5x5, 6x6, etc. grid of letters. And you're going to have to create words by moving the cursor in a specific pattern. So basically, all you have to do is solve every puzzle in the following categories. How to play, which is the tutorial. Pets, animal sounds, dog breeds, herbs and spices, musical instruments, U.S. states, biblical names, money, sushi, musical terms, Indian food, bonus, fruit, computer keyboard, fish, parts of a car, around the mansion, capital cities, on stage, Christmas decorations, circus acts, on fire, horses, fast food, trees, sea life, boats, ice cream, Furniture, Hospital, and Feeling Adventurous, the final set. So you don't have to solve every single puzzle in the game. So this game would have taken me approximately 2 hours to do, or a little bit under 2 hours, but you could certainly do it a little bit faster. It's an easy game, but you are going to want to follow a guide just to speed it up a little bit. There's no miscellaneous trophies this time around, just solve every puzzle within those specific categories. The Vita version is going to be exactly the same, except that this is one of the Vita versions that actually glitched on me, where the Pets one unlocked properly, but the How to Play did not unlock normally like it's supposed to, so I had to go back, delete the game, reinstall it, and replay that very first set of puzzles that unlock the trophy. But do note that this is one of the ones that glitched on me, so it may very well glitch on you as well. This version took me just a little bit over an hour though, about an hour and 17 minutes, and you could probably do it even faster, so nothing much to worry about there. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Here is a bit of a throwback. Most of you guys probably don't even know that there were Harry Potter games on the PS3 to begin with, at least not that had trophies. This is nothing like the old school Harry Potter games on like PS1 and PS2, where you get to explore the castle and learn potions and all that kind of stuff. It's nothing like that. This game is a third-person shooter with gun wands. Angry Joe Show did a very good review of both Part 1 and Part 2, the games, and he made it very clear. It's basically just Gears of War with gun wands, and that is a very, very good way to put it. But both games have pretty rare platinum trophies, which is kind of surprising for how easy they are. I mean, I got this platinum trophy in 3 days, so it's really not that hard overall, as long as you're careful about the online stuff, which I'll get to in a second. So Part 1 is a very poorly made third-person shooter. This is not a good game in the slightest. It's probably one of the worst ones in the entire Harry Potter franchise. You're going to get a good bit of trophies just by beating the main story, which does not take a long time. So you're going to get all of those trophies. I believe this Dragon's Lair one is also a miscellaneous trophy that you're going to earn throughout beating the story. So then you have to use every single spell in the game, which is basically unmissable. If you somehow miss this, it would be shocking. Use all the potions. There's about 8 of them. Some of them are random spawns. Others you can pick up and store, but that's not difficult. So you have to use Confundo to make an enemy defeat another enemy. That's pretty easy once you get the spell midway through the game. Wingardium Leviosa to create cover. That's something that I think the game's going to want you to do regardless, but it's pretty easy anyway. Deflect 20 attacks with Protego, very easy, should come naturally. You have to find all the copies of the Quibbler, all the copies of the Daily Prophet, and all of the Potter Watch passwords. That is your collectible trophies. There's 6 of them in the game total in terms of trophies. I don't remember the number of collectibles, but it's very easy as long as you follow a guide. Plus the game has chapter select, so there's nothing really to worry about with that. Or actually, wait, let me strike that. I can't remember if this game has chapter select or not, so I want to say this game actually does not have chapter select. This is the one that doesn't, I think. I could be completely wrong on that, but I want to say this game may not have chapter select. It's been a while since I played it. It's been, 8 months or so. So maybe look into that and make sure you don't miss any of the collectibles. You have to level up a bunch of times all the way to level 20. The leveling up really does not make much of a difference, but this is something that's going to come naturally because you have to beat the game 3 times regardless. Defeat a total of 500 and 1,000 enemies in story mode, so 1,000 total enemies can be done over multiple playthroughs, so this will come naturally by the time you finished your 3rd playthrough. You have to defeat 35 Acromantula, aka spider-based enemies, so that's pretty easy. You have to get 50 quick stuns and 50 stealthy stuns, which are both... The quick stuns are pretty easy. You're going to get those just by knocking out an enemy pretty quickly. The stealthy stuns you're going to want to do in one of the stealth missions where you have the cloak. So that's the best way to do that one. It's a little bit time-consuming and grindy. It's actually one of the rarest trophies in the game because of that. Then you have a few online trophies. You actually have 4 online trophies in this game. So if you're gonna play this game, you want to knock out the online quickly just because they are online trophies on an obscure PS3 game. And they're not the easiest ones in the world. So you have to post a result online for your friends to compare. I want to say, was that the last one I got? No, it was not. Okay, so this was the last one I got. Getting a 5-star rating on a hard challenge is very easy. There's 2 that are really easy to do on that one. But then posting and comparing a result, I believe for those you have to actually, to compare, you have to have someone on your friends list that is within the top 1,000 on a challenge, and you have to rank within the top 1,000 as well. This was very easy back when the game released, but nowadays you have a lot of hackers that have put their names on the leaderboards that are never going to get removed, and therefore a lot of the times are pretty tough to beat. So you are going to have to be a little bit careful about this one. This one is probably going to give trouble to some players just because there's a lot of really high score requirements to get. So if you're going to go for this platinum, knock the online out as quickly as you can before the times become eventually unbeatable, the way that games like Lost Planet 2 ended up going at some point in the past before their servers went down. You have to post a result for every challenge, which is basically just get a decent score on every challenge and you're good to go. I mean, beating the challenges isn't really a problem. The 5 stars on a hard challenge isn't really a problem. It's mostly just the whole idea of comparing your ranking with someone because you both have to be in that top 1,000. So be careful about this set of trophies, this particular part of the game. So just focus on that first and foremost. And then you have to complete the game on easy, medium, and hard, which is 3 separate playthroughs, so you do have to beat the game 3 separate times, which is really kind of stupid because the difficulty trophies don't stack. So it's really dumb that you have to beat it 3 times, but the game is really not that hard. Beating it 3 times is not a problem. It's a very short game. It's like 3 hours long or something, and you can rush past most of the enemies with no issues. That's a very good strategy. Hard difficulty really isn't much of a problem outside of like 1 or 2 battles, so just kind of speed run the game. Then we have Crypto by Palgi. This is a Palgi game. Once again, this is one where you have to pick one letter to correspond with another letter, and you use those to solve quotes by Nat King Cole, Paul Newman, Bob Ross, Madonna, Luciano Pavarotti, Linus Torvalds, John Lennon, Dr. Seuss, Donald Knuth, Jerry Seinfeld, Barbara Streisand, Claude Monet, Nikola Tesla, Seneca, Alexander Graham Bell, Eric Cantona, Edgar Allan Poe, David Letterman, P.J. Waterhouse, Frank Zappa, Pythagoras, Mario Puzo, Louis Pasteur, John F. Kennedy, Queen Victoria, Carl Jung, Igor Stravinsky, Scott Adams, Albert Einstein, Lewis Carroll, Sun Tzu, and Oprah Winfrey. So you only have to solve certain puzzles. This is a relatively fast Ratalaika game. This one can be done in about an hour if you really know what you're doing. So you basically just have to select letters based on the guide is the easiest way to do it. You just have to match one letter within the setup with another letter, like those old like spy games and stuff, you know. Like if you had a decoder ring for a spy game where one letter matches up with a random other letter and it corresponds to a pattern for the puzzle. So that's sort of how this game works. It's a very quick and easy platinum trophy. Like I said, this one takes about an hour. I did the North American PS4 and Vita versions. So the Vita version took an hour and 6 minutes. The PS4 version took just a little bit longer. This one does not seem to have glitched on me, so that's good. So you just have to solve those marked puzzles and you will get your platinum trophy. Nothing much to worry about there. Black Ops 3. So I'm not going to go through this whole list because most of these trophies I did not earn since like 2017. But what I did in the last few years was mostly focused on the zombies and the multiplayer. So in terms of those, let's see if I can find it. So, let's see. I did Shadows of Evil all the way back in 2017. Was the multiplayer? Okay, the multiplayer seems to have been one thing I did where I reached level 55 in the multiplayer, which is basically the prestige level. I knocked this out just because this multiplayer is a lot less populated. It's not that great of a game. So, I went ahead and knocked out the multiplayer and the zombies to where all I have left is the campaign. It's going to be tough, but it's not like the most horrific thing in the world, especially if you have a team to play it with because you can revive each other on realistic. The challenges and stuff are going to be annoying, but so I'm not really looking forward to a lot of this, but I'm not overly terrified of it compared to some Call of Duty games. So Awakening and Eclipse. Okay, Awakening I had trophies in. Eclipse I think I did a few trophies on during like a stream where someone carried me for like 2 hours of just playing. so I don't really remember any of it, but this might have actually been... No, this was a little bit before the 400th Platinum Trophy. So what did I earn in this in the last year or so? Okay, here's one. Revelations. I overrode all of the corruption engines before round 6 because I have a really good friend. His name's Marshall. Me and him like to play this game quite a bit. He's a big zombies person in all of the games. So whenever we hang out, we tend to play some zombies, and Black Ops 3 Revelations is one of our favorite maps to play. And, you know, we earned a random trophy, which was kind of awesome. Just a free trophy, pretty much. Was not expecting that to unlock. But I believe that's the only trophy I've earned in the last couple of years on this game. It is. So this game has really bad trophy delay, and I'm really not looking forward to some of these other trophies. But it is something I will eventually platinum in 100%. It will be one of my rarest platinum trophies. It is a 0.1% on here. It is a well under 1% on PSN profiles. So that will be quite exciting. It'll be one of my few sub 1% platinums. Next up, Call of Cthulhu. This is an interesting game, I guess you could say. It's a bit of an odd choice of a game. It's a point-and-click adventure with some walking and even some first-person shooter elements, because that makes a whole lot of sense. So, I don't really remember a lot about this game, but reaching expert in a skill was pretty easy, something you'd probably unlock while beating the game. You had to find hidden items as well as inspect things. You had to fail a skill test, which you could do in like the second mission of the game by going up to the giant beached whale, and inspecting it was the easiest way to do it. The small blue bottles is a collectible type that's a bit missable. Then you had the memoirs, the murals, the occult items that are all just, you know, collectible-based trophies throughout the game. I recommend following a guide for this. I believe I followed a PlayStation Trophies guide, so I would recommend that. You have to beat the game without drinking, which is pretty simple. You shouldn't have a problem with that. Kill 5 inhabitants being controlled is done a little bit later in the game during the first-person shooter type mission because, again, for some reason it exists. This might have been story related, or no, it's not. I believe that you have to read like 3 specific books. I believe that's another collectible type of trophy. And then I believe a lot of these others are story related trophies just for beating the game. So what you want to do though is you want to make a backup save around the 10th chapter of the game so that you can finish the game once while following the guide. And then you can reload that save and just replay the last few chapters for, you know, another hour and a half, 2 hours of gameplay to get the remaining endings. Because you have to get all of the different endings in the game. And most of this stuff is story related, though not all of it is. Some of it is definitely missable. So you're going to want to follow a guide for pretty much all of this. But a lot of it comes down to these last like 4 trophies, which are just random ending based trophies. So you can invoke Cthulhu, do the counter ritual, refuse to take part in the ritual, as well as refuse the ritual in general. So these are all different endings for the game. Depending on which choices you make throughout the game will help influence your ending, but I highly recommend following a guide. I really didn't follow this game. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on the whole Cthulhu story, mythos, etc. So if you're a big fan of that, you're probably going to enjoy this game a lot more. Road Bustle, one of the many games out there ruining the world of trophy hunting. All you have to do in this game is reach a grand total of 16,000 points. Now, this could be a little bit tougher, but guess what? All you have to do is, at the very beginning, walk backwards and then walk forwards into a specific building, and your score will go up and you will have no problem whatsoever. I earned this platinum trophy in 6 minutes on this version of it. I did the North American and the European version. You can try to play it legitimately, but there's no point because you can knock the platinum trophy out in 5 minutes if you do it otherwise. So, yep, this one took me 4 minutes, and you can do it even a little bit faster if you're really quick about it. So, very quick and easy platinum trophies, not good games at all, helping to ruin trophy hunting. So, yeah, it's a thing that's out there. I kind of regret playing it, but at least it was an easy platinum. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, one of the other Call of Duty games I decided to clean up in the last couple of years. Don't ask me too much about this game because I have little memory of the main game and then got carried through most of the zombie stuff, which I'll cover in a second. but you got a lot of trophies in this game just by completing the main story and all of the side missions. So you got a lot of trophies for doing that this time around, which was kind of nice. You had to scan all the weapons in the game, which some of them were random spawns. You found them in specific missions. The Letters of the Fallen is done at the very end of the game, like during the credits. Loadout with a custom weapon is going to happen naturally, same with first equipment upgrade. Earning all the equipment upgrades, though, is going to take time. You're going to find those items throughout playing the game. Same with the Jackal items. You're going to earn and find these throughout the game. You're going to want to follow guides for all the collectibles and all the missable stuff in this game. You have to kill all of the most wanted targets because there's quite a few of them. They're done in side missions primarily. 15 kills with the 0G grappling hook can be done through chapter select if needed. Killing Admiral Crotch, yes, I know I said Crotch before his speech ends, is done pretty near the end of the main story, but it's pretty easy, nothing much to worry about there. Use the computer in the captain's office, that's going to be available to you very early in the game. Same with watching a newscast, those are both kind of tough to miss. So just go 2 minutes without double jumping or wall running on a single mission where the abilities are available. So just stand still for 2 minutes on a mission where those are available, nothing difficult there. So kick open a door, peek open a door, and throw a grenade while peeking a door. So different doors for this one. Random trophy there, but pretty easy overall. Kill an enemy while floating in an anti-gravity grenade just requires you to have an anti-gravity grenade. The C12 trophy, you're going to need to look at a guide for this one as to exactly how you're supposed to do it, but it's still not that difficult. Then you have the Zombies in Spaceland mode, which I will say, I like Infinite Warfare a lot. I think the game is very underrated, especially when it comes to the campaign and the zombies. The multiplayer is garbage, but the single player and the zombies is actually pretty fun. But the trophies for the zombies are kind of a bit of a different story. So you have to complete the sticker book, which requires you to complete a huge chunk of the Easter egg and a lot of other miscellaneous actions. And then you have to recover the soul key, which is the Easter egg, which is brutal because of the boss fight and a lot of glitches that are known to exist within this game. So I highly suggest doing research on this game mode because it's got some broken elements when you get to those higher levels and try to go for the Easter egg. Plan your strategy out, be very careful. You probably don't want to do it with more than a 2-person lobby either because it increases the number of aliens that spawn for the final boss fight. 5 brutes in a game without dying is not really that hard. Unlocking David Hasselhoff is going to be done after beating the main Easter egg and then inputting a code on the main menu. So that's probably going to be one of the last trophies you earn. You have to create the Weapon of Rock, which is like a buildable weapon. Pack-a-punching is easy. An Exquisite Core... Was that the double Pack-a-punch? I want to say that's double Pack-a-punch, but I could be wrong. Then you have the song Easter egg, which is awful because one of them requires you to find and shoot 5 teddy bears located around the map, which have over 100 different spawn points, and not all of their spawn points are known, so sometimes it won't even be possible even if you know all the spawn points by memory. That was a horrible experience, and one that I did not enjoy and never want to do again. Playing all the arcade games is very easy. For this one, you have to play a total of 30 games, as well as reach Scene 10, which is very easy. Just do it all in one game. Dominion, this trophy should have been easy, but you guys have heard my theories before that I think they glitched this trophy on purpose in order to make people play the multiplayer for longer and potentially buy loot boxes to speed up the process. Because 5 wins ain't gonna unlock it unless you're playing in Asian servers and using some really weird workarounds. Sabotage is very easy. This DLC, I don't remember it all, but it's actually very easy. I did it all within, 2 days here. No real problems whatsoever. It's one of the easier DLCs. It's by far the easiest in the game. The main things I worked on were Continuum, Absolution, and Retribution. This is actually, I want to say, where me and Ghost met. He's become one of my best friends in the YouTube and gaming community, and I want to say this is actually where we met while working on this game. So for Shell and Shuffle, the bios, I don't really remember how you did those. Skullbuster is a big issue with this map because it's kind of difficult to unlock. The song isn't a problem, but Pack-a-punching the final weapon requires you to beat the final boss and get that weapon and then Pack-a-punch it. And I had a lot of problems with this boss fight over the years. I kept trying it back in 2018 and just could not get it to work. The Soul Key is the Easter egg, so you basically get both of those trophies almost together. The final boss with the special guest requires you to beat the final boss a second time while playing as the bonus character that you unlock in this one. I believe it's Pam Grier is her name. Maxing all of the Chi abilities in a single game is rather easy, as is whatever this one was. I don't really remember what it was. The newspaper clippings are going to require you to basically unlock the Pack-a-Punch, do a couple other actions, and beat the main Easter egg. And then building all the craftables isn't much of a problem, but I highly recommend following a guide and having a group to do this one with, because I was just really struggling with this one. Maybe I'm just not that good at the game, but I had a lot of problems just even beating the map in general. Absolution is the third DLC. This one is a rather short map, but it is a little bit tricky at times. So you have to recover the piece of the Soul Key as well as recover it a second time while playing as bonus character Elvira. This Easter egg is a bit complicated, even though it's not as long as some of the others. It's very complicated. There's a lot of really weird steps with like mixing chemicals and stuff, and I almost failed chemistry, so it definitely didn't help, but I thankfully had two good partners to carry us through it. Unlocking Elvira is going to be done by getting the piece of the Soul Key and then inputting a code, so that's not a problem. Skull Hop is a big pain in the nads on this DLC because it's probably the hardest iteration of that game, that little bonus game. So you're going to need to know what you're doing, and you're going to need to be very well prepared to do it because it is not an easy game mode. It is not an easy bonus. Restore and use all traps is easy. The bomb codes is part of the Easter egg, which if you have a partner that knows how to do it, you're not going to have a problem. Assemble the special weapon is pretty easy, and the Willard's personal diaries, you can't do all of these until after you have beaten the Easter egg, so keep that in mind. Retribution, I quite honestly have absolutely no freaking idea what happened while we were playing this, because I got carried through this whole thing, and I legitimately have no idea what happened at any given point. I was probably drunk while playing it, because that was like right before I started a new job, and I was just drinking a lot back then and just playing through the DLC. And I don't even remember what happened, because I honestly didn't know what was happening, because this DLC just confused the hell out of me. I just followed the instructions of my co-op partner. But we got it, so Infinite Warfare 100%, that is an extremely rare 100%. And that is immediately followed by Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I got this platinum years ago. So you had to complete the campaign on Veteran and do a bunch of miscellaneous activities. I'm not going to go too in-depth into this because I did this, 7 years ago almost, 6.5 years ago. But this is one of the easiest Call of Duty games to do. It's basically just complete the story, fully upgrade your abilities, perform, one or two miscellaneous actions in every mission, and you're good to go for the single player stuff. Nothing much to worry about there. You don't even have to play the actual online. However, you have to do the survival mode. You have to play a total of 50 matches, which is rather easy, and it should come naturally while going for the bonus wave, as you have to complete the Exo Survival bonus wave, which requires you to survive over 200 total waves and then complete the bonus map Riot. So do keep that in mind. That's going to take a while, but you can just go into that map and do it that way. Just load into someone else's lobby. So I did those on like the exact same night, finished them around the same time. 30 minutes with each class is extremely easy. That's pretty self-explanatory, nothing much to worry about there. Flipping a map and flipping it twice. So for this, you're going to need to survive 25 and 50 rounds respectively. And it's not easy. It's not as easy as it was if you don't have a really good group. But if you are struggling with this, if you have the disc version, then you can delete any patches for the game. And if you delete any of the patches, you will be able to find multiple invincibility spots, in which case you can just hide there for the entirety of the game and not have to worry about anything. That is what I did. That's what many other players did. But if you can't or don't want to do that, maybe you have the digital version, you are going to need to have a decent group to do this. Havoc I did back in 2015 over the course of about a week. This DLC it's tougher now than I remember it being, but you have to survive to round 25 as well as upgrade 2 weapons to level 20, which is pretty time consuming. You have to have 15,000 total points, which is pretty easy. You have to acquire the exosuit without spending money, which is a co-op trophy, as well as stealing 10 kills from a teammate. That is also a co-op trophy. This is the Easter egg. The Easter egg is actually pretty easy on this map. Slam 10 zombies at once isn't really a problem. Using the 3D printer 15 times is pretty easy. Same with exo meleeing, but you are going to have a couple of co-op trophies here that you have to deal with. So the main trophies I got started with the Ascendance DLC. This is the second DLC. You have to survive to round 25, which isn't really that difficult. You have to kill 5 pest zombies or host zombies at once in an infected round. Pretty easy, will probably come naturally. You have to kill 100 zombies with traps in a single game. Nothing much to worry about there either. You have to rescue a total of 20 survivors as well as 4 in a single game. This one was tough. This one gave me a lot of trouble. I was able to do it solo, but I highly recommend doing it in co-op because one player can attract all the zombies while the other player goes and rescues the survivor with a smaller number of zombies. So this one gave me a lot of trouble, but I did eventually get it solo. Same with rescuing a total of 20 survivors. That's just a grind. It's not really difficult, but it is a grind. Killing a Goliath with a melee attack really isn't that much of a problem as long as you're careful about it. Killing 50 zombies with the Magnetron in one game shouldn't cause much of a problem and is best done while going for the Easter egg, which is not really that hard of an Easter egg. I did it within 2 tries back in 2018. Most of the trophies I earned were in Supremacy and Reckoning. Okay, that's what it's called. Yep, Reckoning. I had already reached round 10, but you have to reach round 30, which takes some time and isn't the easiest thing in the world because 30 is a little bit high, especially on this map. You have to sink the boat. That's the Easter egg. This is a very, very long Easter egg that's going to take multiple hours and a good bit of skill. You have to use the grenade disposal machine 30 times in one match, which is going to require you to survive long enough to actually use the machine that many times. Diffusing gas bombs is going to probably come naturally while going for the Easter egg. Riding Chompy for 5 minutes, dedicate a playthrough of that because you're not going to get it normally because it's not really an intuitive idea. Telefragging 50 enemies in a single match is pretty easy. Just, throw the telefrag grenade at them and kill them with it. 18 enemies with a single shot of the LZ-52 Limbo is pretty easy. I'm surprised I didn't get this back in the day when I first played this because it's actually a pretty simple trophy. 20 kills with a single burst of explosive touch is not going to be a problem. You're going to get that one naturally while playing the map. The 4 live sharks in 10 seconds is kind of buggy and kind of annoying, so this one's going to take multiple tries and a little bit of luck as to whether or not the game decides to give it to you, but it's still not, terrible. But this DLC in particular is one of the harder ones in the game, only eclipsed by Reckoning. This DLC is a real pain to get through. This is not a fun experience. This one was not a good experience. It was terrible. Nothing I would ever want to do again. So you have to defeat Oz by completing round 20 and defeating the 2 Oz boss fights. You have to finish all of his challenges, which is basically the Easter egg. It's not terrible, but it's very time consuming. Defeating Oz for the last time. This is the double feature mode, the infamous double feature mode. It's difficult. It is extremely difficult. You die a little bit faster. The screen's black and white. You have no HUD. You don't get points for damaging zombies, only for killing them. It is a mess. It is a difficult game mode. It is going to require a lot of luck, a lot of skill, a lot of resets. It was not fun, but thankfully, we did eventually beat it and got that 100% done, but I would not recommend playing this particular DLC to anyone because it was terrible just going for the trophies. Not the map, the trophies are terrible. You have to kill Oz with a blunderbuss, which is something that might happen while you're going for the double feature trophy because the blunderbuss is by far the best weapon during the final phase. Crossing the water with the teleport grenade is very easy once you have a teleport grenade. Punching Oz with a Goliath is also pretty easier, but you're going to have to get all the way to round 20 to do it. Punching 20 enemies with a Goliath is also very easy, even though it has to be done in a single match. Reaching round 7 without opening a door, just surviving the early area, nothing much to worry about there. And then kill 100 enemies that are behind you with the Trident in a single match of Descent is pretty easy because the Trident's a pretty good weapon. Just train zombies and you should get it. So that was a painful 100%, one that I would not recommend doing because it was painful. It was not fun. I was not a fan of this game in general, and the trophy list definitely reflects that. So, buyer beware if you decide to do either version of this game. I am certainly not doing the PS3 version, so don't ask about it. Resident Evil 3, very fun game, relatively easy platinum. You're going to get some trophies here just for completing the main story. You have to beat the game on Inferno, but we'll come back to that one a little bit later. Crafting an item, improving a weapon, expanding your inventory, those are all very easy, pretty much unmissable trophies. Causing Nemesis to relinquish an item just requires you to do enough damage to Nemesis in one section to make him drop a weapon. Defeating him on the rooftop, I believe, is a story-related trophy. The Jewels in the Clock Tower Monument is a miscellaneous trophy related to obtaining some items that you're going to want to do. Leaving RPD, defeating Zombie Brad are both story-related trophies, pretty much unmissable there. The S rank on Inferno, this is the hardest trophy in the game, but the thing is, there's a way to grind the in-game experience points and use them to purchase infinite ammo weapons. And that's how you're going to beat the game on Inferno with an S rank, because the S rank comes down entirely to how many saves you have and how quickly you beat the game. There's only a few difficult parts of the game with the infinite rocket launcher. The final boss fight can be one of them, though I had way more trouble on Nightmare than on Inferno, because on Inferno I beat it first try. Nightmare, it took me 20 tries because I just was not having good luck with it. And there's a few other tough parts as well. But that's what I highly recommend, is using the in-game shop to purchase all the items. Story-related trophy, that's another story-related trophy. This is a time-limited trophy, but it's really not hard. You'll probably get this one naturally during one of your playthroughs, because you're going to be beating the game at least 3 to 4 times. Defeating Nemesis multiple times, that's both story-related trophies, nothing much to worry about there. The Charlie dolls, I don't remember if you have to find all of them. Okay, so you do. You have to do that and read all the story files. So lots of collectible items in this game, so follow a guide for those. 2 enemies with a single shot is going to come naturally, so nothing to worry about there. Unlocking all of the weapons is going to come, I think, naturally. I could be wrong, but I think that's a natural story progression trophy. You have to unlock all the safes, lockers, strong boxes, and pickable locks, which is relatively easy if you follow a guide. And then you have to complete the game on Standard, Hardcore, and Nightmare, as well as complete the game with an S ranking. Already sort of talked about all of those trophies. You beat the game with an S ranking on Inferno. You'll get all these other trophies along the way if you haven't gotten them yet. You have to complete the game without using the item box, which is really not that hard, even though it doesn't give you the infinite ammo weapons. You have to complete the game using 1 or fewer recovery items. I would not try to beat it without recovering at all. You're going to want to use 1 item early on in the game when you're in the spider section, but you can unlock healing coins that refill your health, so that's the best way to do this. And then complete the game in under 2 hours. You're going to get that during one of your, many S ranking runs, your Inferno run, etc. Fantastic game. Definitely suggest playing. I like Resident Evil 2 a little bit better, though. So 2's better, but 3's a lot of fun and an easy platinum trophy. My name is Mayo 2. This game exists, and it's actually pretty good. It's definitely better than most of the Ratalaika games that come out these days. Play it. It's actually fun. It's reasonably fun. It's well worth playing. It's worth $1. It's, it's a decent game. I did the entire platinum on a stream in a little bit over an hour, but I was actually kind of playing the game legitimately, trying to follow the story a bit. The game's really not bad at all, though, because it's actually fun to play. It has a decent story and stuff to it. So you're going to be hitting your jar of mayonnaise 10,000 times. That's a majority of your trophies. But you also have to basically dress the mayonnaise up in various outfits and hit it a certain number of times in each outfit and setting. That's how you're going to get a bunch of your trophies. However, along with that, this version of the game also adds in some mini games down toward the bottom of the trophy list. Most of these are just for dressing it up and hitting it in various outfits, but there are also going to be a few very new trophies. I think starts with this one where you're going to be playing little mini games along the way, which are creative, and it's a nice little difference for the game, a nice little change, and I'm glad that they did that. So a lot of little trophies for the mini game modes, and I'm glad they did that. They made for a fairly decent game. It's worth playing. It's much better than the previous one. It's much better than a lot of the other easy platinums these days. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. This game is harder than the original, but it is a better game because it's more well designed for the third-person shooter mechanic, though it's also a much shorter game. It's like 2.5 hours to 3 hours long. So you have to defeat an enemy wizard from cover. That's unmissable. You have to beat the main story, which is relatively short and pretty easy, especially on the easiest difficulty. Defeat 100 wizards from cover. I mean, this is a third-person shooter. This is a straight-up third-person shooter, so this is going to be pretty much unmissable. Same with the blind firing trophy. You're going to have to complete the game on normal, advanced, and expert. Expert is a little bit tough. There are some difficult levels in this game that can be just a little bit unfair or a little bit punishing at times. But it's not really that bad as long as you just take it carefully, take it a little bit slowly. Just, yeah, that's the best way to put it, pretty much. These trophies, I believe, do actually stack this time around, though, because I beat the game on advanced on my first playthrough, so they actually do stack this time, but you are going to have to do 2 playthroughs. Expert isn't unlocked until you beat the game on advanced. Use Protego 100 times successfully is very easy. Dispel enemy Protego shields with Expelliarmus is easy because they actually give you reason to use all the different spells in this game. So 100 kills with Petrificus Totalis, 100 kills with Expulso, 100 with Confringo are all just, you know, miscellaneous weapon-specific trophies or wand spell-specific trophies. You're going to have some more story-related trophies here for playing as every type of character. Upgrade over 100 meters is probably going to come naturally because it's a good way to avoid damage. Defeat 50 enemies using more than one spell should come during the challenges. Protego to defeat 20 enemies at close range should also come during the challenges. Same with this one. 10 enemy wizards with Protego deflections specifically. 4 enemies with a single Confringo. 5 enemies with a single Impedimenta. There are good missions to do this on, to where they're both relatively easy to do. 10 kills before an enemy casts a spell should come naturally while beating the game. Same with 100 total kills and 500 total kills. 1,000 will most likely come naturally by the time you beat the game a second time. Finding all the characters and the music tracks and all of the items are basically just, you know, collectible trophies for this game. As long as you follow a guide, you won't have any problem with them. There's not too many in the game this time around, and the game has chapter select, which is nice. Finish a level without being defeated. If you don't get this by the time you beat the game, that would be shocking. But you do have to complete all of the challenges in the game with a gold medal. A few of these challenges are pretty tough. Like, there's not too many in the game, but a few of them are kind of difficult. They mostly have to do with, you know, getting a certain number of kills or playing through a certain area of a level quickly. You are going to have to be careful. Try to chain spells and do, like, multi-spells to kill a single enemy. That's a good way to build points quickly. 5 explosive reactions is pretty easy. Oh, there's another challenge trophy that's out of order there. And then you have a level-specific trophy, which is a little bit trickier because it's a little bit touchy as to whether or not it'll actually work out. But this is done toward the end of the main story. So this game is better than the original, but it is, you know, it's got a few annoying parts to it, a few annoying quirks to it. Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4. This is a Lego game, and it is a fun Lego game, but it is one of the most infamously broken, glitchy Lego games, especially on the PS3. That's why I did the PS4 version. You're going to get a few trophies here just by completing all of the story levels. You can miss a few of the lessons, but you can go back and do them later, so it's not actually a missable trophy. You have to find all of the house crests. There are 4 per level for each level of the game. All of the red bricks, as well as all of the gold bricks, is about 200. There's 50 or 60 students in peril, so that's another collectible type, just like the gold and red bricks. True Wizard is filled the stud meter, but once you have your stud boosters, your stud multipliers, you're not going to have a problem with that one. 100% is a very time-consuming trophy, as with most LEGO games. This is going to take 20 to 25 hours. There's a lot of collectibles and areas of the game that can glitch on you, especially if you're playing the PS3 version. If you want to play this game, please only play the PS4 version. The PS3 version is not worth the effort because it is so prone to breaking, game-breaking glitches that will ruin your platinum run. It's just not worth it. You have to buy a whole lot of characters. The Time Turner is going to be unlocked while getting various collectibles. You have to complete all of the Lego building tutorial levels, which is easy but a bit of a waste of time. Get kills with various characters in various levels. 10 million studs on the level is easy with the multipliers. You know, just various kill-related trophies, various spell-related trophies. Nothing much really that's actually complicated here. But just remember, keep in mind that the game is prone to glitching and kind of messing with you because of that. So you want to have a lot of backup saves, and you want to constantly keep track of stuff, and hope that the game doesn't break on you, especially if you're playing the PS3 version. The PS4 version should be okay, though. Goosebumps Dead of Night. This is the North American version of the game. This is the second Goosebumps game. You're going to get 3 trophies here by just completing the main story of the game, which can be done in about an hour. It took me a little bit over an hour, so like an hour and 15 minutes to get all the trophies, hour and a half. You basically have to get killed in every possible way to get most of the trophies, so I would highly suggest following a guide for this game. I believe Bad Driver has one. So just follow a guide and you should get all the trophies along the way with no real problem. Aside from the very final level, which has a fairly annoying section as well as kind of an annoying boss fight that a lot of people complain about because it's not really... This game isn't designed to have a first-person shooter-based final boss fight. We'll say that right now. Then you have a few miscellaneous trophies, such as finding a spider in a bread box in the very first level of the game, the first of 3. Then you have to drink the 2 different potions. You have to drink whichever one kills you, so the Brewer's Potion first. It'll kill you and respawn you, and then you have to drink Margaret's Potion to forward the game. And then just a few more ways to die overall, as well as discovering a secret vent system in the second level of the game. Easy platinum, just not one that I enjoyed, not one I'd really recommend. Heavy Fire Afghanistan. This is a game. I did the North American version years ago as one of my first, 25 platinums. This is the Japanese version of the game, which I actually purchased for, $25. I thought this game was better than it was. I could have sworn this game was way better and more fun. Unfortunately, I was very wrong and did not enjoy this playthrough at all. I think it would be more fun in co-op, but it was not a good experience, not one I would recommend doing multiple times. Just focus on your one region version of the game. So you have to beat the story, you have to actually beat it twice, once on Rookie and then a second time on Veteran because the difficulty trophies do not stack in this game. You have to get a total of 3,000 kills, which should come by the end of your second playthrough. If not, you can grind it quite easily. Headshots, you're probably not going to get naturally. You might have to grind this out. I think that was that the last trophy I got? It was. So you're going to have to grind out your headshots by replaying the first mission a few times. The kill chains of 5, 7, and 10 are best done in the Hawkeye's escort mission. It's the helicopter mission. Destroy 500 total destructible objects should come naturally while beating the game twice, as with firing bullets, though if they don't, you can always just go into any level and just fire off your bullets like crazy with no problem. Finish a mission with an accuracy of 5% or lower, as well as accuracy of 50% or higher. These are both best done on the shooting range missions because you don't actually have to kill any enemies and they only last for 30 seconds. Any mission with only 1 health bar left, you're going to want to be a little bit careful with this one. It may come naturally. If it doesn't, then go back into one of the first couple missions where you know it ends at and let yourself get damaged enough to unlock it at the last minute. And finally, you have to beat a mission with combat without taking damage. This is best done on the Rookie difficulty for the first mission. It's very easy. It's not really going to give you much of a problem. I think I actually streamed a bunch of that game now that I think about it. Wolfenstein Youngblood. This is another Wolfenstein game, and this game is not that good. Unfortunately, I was hoping it would be better. You have to finish one mission with a co-op player, though it's better to play a lot of it in co-op if you actually want to make it enjoyable. So you have to kill a total of 500 enemies, including 20 drones, 10 charging Super Soldaten, 50 enemies with explosives, 50 with thrown weapons, 50 stealth kills, 75 takedowns, a bunch of just miscellaneous combat-based trophies. The main thing about this game is that it's a big old grind. You're going to be farming kills, you're going to be farming money. That's basically, and XP as well. That's all you're going to be doing is you beat the main story, you beat all the miscellaneous trophies, then you're just going to be spending all of your time farming money, kills, and XP to level up. That's really all there is to say about the game. It gets very boring by that point because it takes 30 to 40 hours total. Pick up loot supplies, gore enemies, easy trophies, revive or get revived 25 times, unmissable, 10 code locks, unmissable, finish all the missions, basically story related. There's some douchebag in their loud old motorcycle driving by behind us, so I had to cut that out there. 50 kills while airborne is a little bit trickier, but not difficult. 10 super soldat stealth kills, just sneak up behind them. 100 dual wield kills, very easy. 75 enemies with specific weapons is very easy. Tuck a hammer weapon ways unmissable while upgrading everything. Crush ability kills takes a little while, but it's easy. You know, just the game is easy is the thing. It takes a long time because there's so much stuff you have to do. You have to grind out well over 100,000 coins to unlock everything. You have to find a ton of collectibles. You have to grind out XP to level up your weapons. You have to achieve the mastery level 10 with every single weapon in the game, of which there are a lot of weapons. It's a time-consuming, grindy platinum that didn't need to be that way. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. Spider-Man Miles Morales, PS4. Fantastic game. Highly, highly recommend playing. So it took me probably a week or two to do this. Very worth playing though, fantastic game. In some ways it's better than the original. In some ways the second one was a little bit, or the original I mean, was a little bit better, but this one cuts out like the annoying MJ stealth missions. And a lot less padding. It's just, you know, a main story that can be done in like 3 hours and a few hours of side mission padding and stuff. So you have to unlock all the skills, which I believe is best done in New Game Plus to get the last few skills. I think you actually have to do that. Complete all the districts is basically do all of the miscellaneous actions within each district. That's going to be all marked on the map for you, which is awesome. You have collectibles in terms of time capsules, postcards, underground caches. You have to shut down all of the Roxxon labs and hideouts. There's not too many. There's like 3 or 4 of each. Purchase all the suits, which is going to require some resources. This, I believe, is either a side mission or story-related trophy. You have to complete an enemy base without being detected. There's a few ones that you can do this on, but you can do the entire game on the easiest difficulty. And I believe that both this and the original Spider-Man, you can actually cross-save and upload your save to a cloud or something, to where when you do that, you can just download it on the PS5 version and get a free Platinum trophy. The 100 combo is pretty easy. There's a few places you can do it. You have to get a spectacular or better in every challenge, or in one of every challenge, as well as complete every challenge. There's only about 10 of them in the game, pretty easy. The final test is part of the challenges though, so keep that in mind. These two are going to be earned around the same time. Crafting upgrades is very easy. You have a miscellaneous missions... Oh wait, no, that's a store-related trophy. That's the first one you're going to get. You have another collectible type trophy here with the sound samples. Then we have a few story-related trophies and side mission-related trophies through here. Pretty much everything through there is going to be story or side mission-related. You have to do 25 ceiling and 25 wall takedowns, both of which are easy during certain stealth challenges. They're very easy to grind out. They just take a little bit of time to do. 50 camouflage kills is pretty easy and will probably come naturally. The 100 Venom attacks comes naturally for some people, but it took me a little bit of grinding because I didn't really use the Venom attacks that much. There's another Venom attack trophy there that requires a little bit more planning. Same with this one, so those both require a little bit of planning, but they're pretty easy. You then have 2 mission-specific trophies, but thankfully the game has chapter select if you do happen to miss these. This one's a little bit tough to miss, just, you know, steer through everything during the Rhino section at the beginning of the game. This one is much more heavily missable because it's not really something most players are going to interact with, but it's at least easy. These are both miscellaneous, or a bunch of these are miscellaneous trophies, but these are both miscellaneous trophies related to photo mode as well as going to a specific part of the map respectively. The 50 enemies with the remote mine is pretty easy because it's a powerful weapon. The Friendly Neighborhood Spider app requests are just side mission types that take a little bit of time. Craft a suit and visor mod are both pretty easy. Go to a specific part of the map. This is just like the first game that had a trophy like this. The gift suit is an unmissable story-related trophy. The bonus objectives for every crime type was harder in the original Spider-Man. In this game, you can actually just spawn the ambient crimes whenever you want, so you can repeat this as many times as you need until you get it, which is really nice. 100 stealth takedowns is basically unmissable. You have to go out to a certain boat in southern Chinatown for this trophy. Just step on it. Scroll through the entire social feed after beating the game. Just scroll through it. Pretty simple. The main annoying thing about this game is that you do have to beat it in New Game Plus to unlock the final trophy. It only takes a few hours to get through, but it is a little bit annoying that it is a base game trophy and not like a DLC trophy like most games do, like the original Spider-Man. But it is an easy platinum trophy and still nothing much to worry about overall. Next up was Borderlands 3, so this was actually like my 401st platinum trophy. So you're going to get some trophies by reaching level 50. You're going to have to unlock character skins as well as vehicle parts, as well as Tip Moxie. You have a multiplayer trophy, actually 3 multiplayer trophies in this game. Winning a duel is very easy. You can do it with 2 controllers, same with reviving another player, nothing to worry about there. This one's going to require you to have an online connection to send a single item to a friend on your friends list, but that's it, and then you're done with the multiplayer. Then you have a bunch of miscellaneous trophies. The firing range is the hardest part of the game because, or it was for me, because it's the one I struggled with the most. It's best done in 2-player or more. You have to buy cosmetic items with Iridian from Crazy Earl. The Iridian slabs are a collectible type that are very glitched. All of the trophies, or a bunch of the trophies in this game, are glitched, so be very careful while playing through it. It's very possible that you will get screwed over by glitched trophies while playing this and have to replay certain things or go through certain workarounds. The game's better now than it was when it released, but when it released, it was a broken mess in a lot of places. There are 3 circles of slaughter, of which they can actually be the toughest parts of the game in terms of the actual combat, especially the final one, so I recommend bringing along a good group for those. All the named locations in the game should have been easy, but the trophies are glitched, as you can see here. You discover all named locations before finding all the ones on Promethea and Eden 6 and Pandora. So yeah, these trophies are glitched for some reason. I don't understand why they're glitched or why they couldn't fix them, but it's unfortunately a problem with the game. You have to complete all the side missions, of which there's about 60. The Iridian Proving Grounds are a type of side mission. They're not really that hard, though. The Hammerlock's Legendary Hunts and Zero's Targets of Opportunity are basically collectible types. The Exploding Barrel Kill is easy. This is an easy trophy. This one's easy. Purple Rarity Gear Better is pretty easy. Loyalty packages are easy. Just, get 100 kills with each weapon type in the game. And then you get a bunch of story-related trophies. You also get Florida Man here, which is a great trophy. Glad this one's in the game. Just, down yourself by an explosion. Very fitting. At least you didn't throw an alligator through the window of a Wendy's drive-thru, because that actually happened. The Vault Rewards is a story-related trophy, and the Golden Keys, you can earn those off of, just look them up. Just look up shift key codes and hope that they're still valid. As for the DLC, though, the DLC is the main thing I focused on. This game's DLC is Highway Robbery. It's absurdly expensive. It's like, $50 for the first season pass and then $30 for the second season pass, just for trophies and stuff. And most of the DLCs are really not that good. They're not really anything that special. So that's kind of unfortunate that they're not as good as the ones in Borderlands 2. So for this DLC, you had to complete the main story, and then you had to find collectibles, or crew challenges as they were called. The statues, the mayor outfit, the Torg's hot sauce bottles are all just crew challenges. 21 in Blackjack is entirely luck-based, but not really difficult. It'll happen after a short amount of time. Return to the Clapstructor later in the game after dealing with the main story is very easy. The Wandering Debt Collector is a random rare spawn, but it does happen eventually if you're playing on Mayhem mode. Guns, Love, and Tentacles, I would say, is the best of the 4 DLCs. You're going to get, I believe these first 3 trophies are all story-related trophies. The Death Trap kills is a little bit annoying because he's only available at certain parts of the game, and if you miss this while beating the main story, it's going to take a little while to grind out. You have to complete all of the crew challenges and side missions. There aren't too terribly many. I mean, I beat this DLC in like 4 days of semi-constant playing. The Echo Logs are easy if you follow a guide. The Rare Spawns are easy if you follow a guide. And the Fish Jokes are just a bit of a grind, but still very easy. Just require you to leave and return to the main lodge and talk to the fish head. Bounty of Blood is the Wild Wild West type DLC. This one's pretty easy overall in terms of its trophy design. You just have to complete all of the main story missions, all of the side missions, and all of the crew challenges, and you will earn all of the trophies along the way. Nothing much more to say there. It is a bit of a longer DLC. It's like 6 to 8 hours, I believe, from what I remember, but it's not really difficult. Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck. This is the easiest of the 4 DLCs from what I remember. It's very quick. You're going to get 5 trophies here just from beating the main story. The Gates to Valhalla is related to like a final side mission or final special location. But that one does require a little bit more effort to get to, a little bit of effort to figure out the pattern for everything and everything you have to hit to unlock it. Because you have to unlock all the secret areas of Valhalla, so you're going to need to follow a guide for that. And then finally, you have to complete all of the side missions and crew challenges, but there are very few in this DLC. This one can be done in under 5 hours. It's the fastest and easiest of the 4 Season 1 DLCs. Then there's 2 more DLCs, Designer's Cut and Director's Cut, which is another price gouging $30 season pass for these 2 pieces of content, which is terrible. From what I know, this DLC is pretty easy. It's just a little bit grindy to extract 100 total items. And then Director's Cut, I know like nothing about. Presumably, this is a story-related trophy, this is a grindy miscellaneous trophy, and this is a raid boss, but I'm not entirely sure. Destiny 2, oh man, am I glad to have this game done. This one was a bit less fun of a game. So the trophies have changed a lot since the time in which the game released, because originally some of these trophies are the same, but a lot of them have changed. The level 20 trophy, I believe, now pops automatically by starting a new game. The subclasses, I believe, either pop automatically or require like one small thing to do when you start up the game for the first time. Also, this is another one of those games where you can upload your save to the cloud and or something like that and auto pop the trophies on the PS5 version, which is awesome. The Light Reforged quest used to be Shaxx's Call to Arms. It's basically a Crucible tutorial. It's pretty easy. You have to complete 5 total heroic public events for 2 trophies. This is extremely easy, as heroic public events are not going to cause you any problems whatsoever. The Nightfall Strike isn't really much of a problem either. Just completing one of them one time is not going to be an issue. 15 Red War exotic items is a bit of a grind, but you can buy them from Xur if you're concerned. 30 challenges. I'm not entirely sure how this works now because it's changed from how it used to be. And then, of course, you have your 2 most difficult trophies for completing a Nightfall Strike on Master and a Nightfall Strike on Grandmaster. This used to be for completing the raid and completing the raid on Prestige, the Leviathan raid. These look terrible from what I have seen. The Grandmaster difficulty Nightfall Strike is apparently pretty damn difficult. So be careful with that one. You probably are going to want to look at some guides and strategies and have a good group to carry you through it if you're a new player. Or if you're a returning player, it's probably not that bad. And then finally, this trophy used to be for winning a match of Trials of the Nine, but all you have to do now is talk to Xur once. He's the exotic weapons and item vendor, so just talk to him once and you'll get this trophy. Much easier now than it was when I got it. The Forsaken DLC is a whole nother matter entirely. 5,000 Triumph points is easy. Forsaken items is easy because you can do this by just buying from Xur. But we're going to skip over Triumph for now. Collections Badge requires you to collect a whole bunch of items. I'm not really sure what the best one to do now, though, is with how much content was vaulted when Beyond Light came out. Dreaming City is a story-related trophy. Forsaken exotic quests are pretty easy. There's at least one that's easy. Win a single Gambit match is not going to be a problem. Forsaken Nightfall boss comes down to waiting until a Nightfall Strike is a Forsaken quest line. Then this is a story-related trophy. The Last Wish raid on the main difficulty. This raid is pretty annoying, but I sort of got carried through it and sort of definitely carried my own, though, compared to some of the other raids in this franchise. The Triumph Seal, I don't really know what your best option for this is anymore because I did the like Destinations Triumph Seal and I did it right before the Beyond Light update came out and changed everything. So I don't know what your best option is now. I think Gambit is a decent option, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Basically, though, you're in for a long, long ride with Destiny 2. It is a over 100 hour, 100%, and it can be pretty difficult at times. And now for what should be the fifth and final recording in this whole session of Platinums number 401 through 500. So our next game up is Overcooked 2. So this game is... I love Overcooked. I love Overcooked 2. I really want to see another Overcooked game come out. I will certainly do the whole, whatever it's called, the all-you-can-eat edition at some point, just once I end up picking up it on the PS4. I'm sure I will do it on the PS5 as well at some point. This Platinum Trophy is rather easy overall, though some players may have more trouble with it if they aren't as good at this whole game design. It's a good game to mix between solo and co-op. I would say you don't usually want to do more than 2 people because at that point the score limits become so high that they become a lot harder to beat. So for the Platinum Trophy, you're going to need to beat the main story, and you're going to need to get 3 stars on every single level in the game. That's going to get you a bunch of the trophies throughout the game, is 3 stars on every level. Most of the levels are not too difficult to where a little bit of practice and you will get 3 stars on all of the levels after, just a little bit of practice. But some of them can be a little bit tougher. There are quite a few more challenging levels in the game, especially some of the hidden levels. So do keep that in mind. Some levels are going to take quite a bit of practice, but it's still not something that's overly challenging in my opinion. I think this game's like a 3, maybe a 4 out of 10 at most. It's not even that time consuming either. It's a sub 20 hour platinum, which is great. You also have a lot of miscellaneous trophies though, such as delivering 1,000 meals, which is going to come naturally while playing through all of the DLCs. I definitely recommend working on some of these miscellaneous trophies while going through the DLCs because it's going to speed up your time a little bit. Although delivering every type of meal is going to come while beating the story with 3 stars on every level. Same with completing a level with all the recipes in order. But then you start getting to certain miscellaneous and multiplayer trophies. Throwing 100 ingredients into a cooking pot you might not get normally, so work on it during the DLCs. Winning 10 games in versus mode is actually pretty fun because the versus mode is pretty good. It's basically, 2 players, you're going to need 2 controllers for it, but 2 players facing off against one another trying to cook the most meals. And you can actually mess with each other in this game, so it's actually pretty fun. Definitely a decent game mode. Just win 10 games of that against yourself and you are good to go. Unlocking all chefs is going to come naturally while getting 3 stars on every kitchen. Extinguish a burning kitchen is pretty easy. The tutorial is an unmissable story-related trophy. Then you have to finish a total of 15 arcade and versus games. The versus games I already talked about a bit. The arcade games are completely pointless because it just throws you into a random level with no changes. So completely pointless and an extra hour of time added to the platinum for no real reason. Throw 500 items. That one may come naturally because you're going to throw a lot of items. Catching items, though, is a little bit less likely to come naturally. Throwing away 99 items is also less natural. Washing 300 plates, same thing. A lot of these are best to do while working on the DLCs and probably will come naturally while doing the DLCs. Use every emote is pretty easy. You can do that really at any time. Going through the portals is actually probably going to be unmissable while going for the platinum just because you're going to be using the portals a lot on a few specific levels to where you'll probably need to do this anyway. The 800 items chopped is also another time-consuming grindier trophy that's probably going to be best done also during the DLCs. And then hitting all the switches on the world map is a story-related trophy. As for the DLCs, Surf and Turf is the easiest of the 4. You simply have to get 3 stars on every one of the 12 main levels in this DLC, as well as serve every meal, which is going to come naturally while getting those 3 stars. You have to wash 150 dirty plates or glasses with a water gun. You can do this on one of the first levels where the water gun is available by just delivering blank plates to where you get them back dirty. The bellows is also very easy. Just spam the square button over a barbecue grill, shish kebab grill 500 times quickly. Nothing to worry about there. Campfire Cook-Off is a little bit more annoying just because some of the levels are a little bit harder, but you have to get 3 stars on every main level in this, so once again about 12 of them. Burn 300 pieces of wood is best done in co-op because you'll chop a whole lot faster to throw the wood into the campfires. And then you also have to take 500 items from backpacks, which is a little bit time consuming. Just go to the first backpack level where there's no time limit, take items out, throw them, and do that repeatedly. Night of the Hangry Horde is one of the harder DLCs in this entire game. You have to get 3 stars on all of the standard levels. There's no trophy for delivering all the meals this time around. 3 stars on standard levels isn't much of a problem. The main difficulty is that you have to beat all of the Horde levels without the kitchen taking damage. There's a few really difficult Horde levels, especially the last, 2 of them are pretty challenging, and I would recommend doing especially the last one solo, just because you get a lot more points and you spend a lot less points repairing the kitchens. As for these last 2 trophies, burning coal and chopping greens with the guillotine are both very time-consuming, grindy trophies that are not going to come naturally, so do keep that in mind. And finally, there's Carnival of Chaos, which is, I would say, the trophies themselves aren't difficult, it's just the design of the levels is a little bit tougher. It's definitely some of the hardest levels in the game, mostly because of the very high score requirements on most levels. But Deliver Every Meal is going to come naturally while getting 3 stars on every level, which is, again, it's the hardest DLC to get 3 stars on every level. Firing a chef from a cannon 100 times is extremely easy and can be grinded out very quickly if you don't get it naturally. Same with applying mustard and ketchup to recipes. So, fantastic game, highly recommend playing. Just note that the DLCs can add quite a bit of extra time to your Platinum and 100% run. Next up, I did HIQ Ace Unlimited, as well as HIQ Ace, so we'll skip Call of Duty World War II for the moment. HIQ Ace Unlimited and HIQ Ace, so these two were both free games, a North American and a European version. These Platinums, 100%s, are extremely easy. You simply have to solve an easy arcade level in 60 seconds, a medium in 150 seconds, so 2.5 minutes, and a hard level in less than 450 seconds, aka 6.5 minutes. The thing is, you can use power-ups to fill in much of the puzzle for you, and that is highly recommended for this. You also have to fit a total of 1,000 pieces into place while doing the power-ups. These 2 trophies are going to require a little bit of grinding after completing the main 3 trophies for completing puzzles in under a certain amount of time. None of these are really that difficult, but I think these trophies are actually a little bit glitched to where sometimes they will unlock despite taking more than the amount of time. I know that happened on one version of the game. But overall, it's an extremely quick and easy 100%. I mean, it's a jigsaw puzzle game. There's not much more to say about it. There's not a whole lot of puzzle options, but they're very quick and easy. You can do both versions in, under an hour. As you can see here, I did this one in under an hour. I could have done it faster if I had really worked on it harder. As for the standard HIQ Ace, the trophies are actually a little bit easier, because the puzzles are a little bit different, but you have 100 seconds for an easy arcade level, so 1 minute and 40 seconds. You have 4 minutes for a medium arcade level and 10 minutes for a hard arcade level. The other 2 trophies are the same. So this version is actually easier. It still took about an hour to do all of the fitting 1,000 pieces and using 100 power-ups, but the actual skill-based trophies are easier in this version, so do keep that in mind. I believe that Unlimited is free. HIQ Ace Standard might not be free. I'm not entirely sure about that, though. Then we have Call of Duty World War II, another Call of Duty game wrapped up. So I got both the Platinum and the 100% within this time period. So you're going to get some trophies for doing the actions within the game where you have to fill up a meter and request supplies from your partners, which was kind of a cool idea for this game. Then you have to save 5 allies by throwing away live grenades. This one's pretty much unmissable. Disable 50 enemies with smoke grenades is pretty easy if you use a lot of smoke grenades. Then you have the heroic actions for saving allies in various ways. These are best covered in a collectible guide because they are effectively collectibles, as are the 33 mementos in the game. So there are a decent number of collectibles in this game if you count the heroic actions. You have to spend 3 total minutes using focus, which is probably going to come naturally. If not, it's extremely easy. Completing the campaign on Veteran is a little bit tougher this time around because there's no health regeneration in this game. It's no health regeneration, and you have to get, a lot of your supplies by calling on your allies. But unlike certain games like Call of Duty Classic, you will actually get health packs in this one, as well as ammo and stuff, so it's not terrible. There's a few tough areas, but overall it's not too much to worry about if you're experienced with Call of Duty games on Veteran. Then you're going to have a trophy for completing each mission of the game, as well as a miscellaneous trophy for each mission. This one is luck-based. This one is painful because I'm a stand-up kind of guy round 2, and it's awful because it's like midway through the mission or toward the end of the mission, so if you screw up, you have to redo the whole mission. Although I think the planes are a little bit less random in this one than they were in Battlefield 1. This one's pretty easy from the Stronghold mission. This one's fairly easy as well. Liberation is a fantastic mission with a relatively easy miscellaneous trophy, but definitely the best mission in the game and one of the better ones in the more recent years of the franchise. Collateral Damage this trophy is pretty easy if you're playing on Recruit because 80% health isn't that bad. You got another Stealth trophy, nothing much to worry about there. You've got this one that a lot of people actually do get normally. You have to shoot down 12 enemies while you're in a plane during the Battle of the Bulge mission, which isn't really too difficult overall. Then the next to last mission of the game, you have to reach a certain section in stealth, which is, again, fairly easy if you're following a guide. And then you have yet another stand-up kind of guy section, though this one I don't believe is as difficult. Plus, I believe that this one is earlier in the mission. Or maybe this is the one that's at the very end of the mission. Actually, this one I believe is the one that's at the very end, and the other one's like midway through. You do have some multiplayer trophies in this game. You have to get 10 kills, which is extremely easy. You have to complete 21 daily challenges, which is glitched, or at least it used to be, to where you had to finish like 25 to 30, which is annoying but not difficult. You had to prestige, as well as prestige a single division of your character while playing online. These are both time-consuming and grindy, especially given that the multiplayer is a lot less populated now than it once was. But at least the trophies are still fairly easy. They just may take some time to get through if you didn't do these back in the day. As you can see here, I pretty much did all of these within, 2 to 3 weeks of the game releasing. The war matches, this one is pretty easy because the war matches are a decent new game mode, but you do have to have a decent enough team to be able to win it in the modern day. Then finally you have the zombies mode, and this is actually rather easy, though time consuming of a zombies mode. Retrieving the artifact is the main Easter egg, while saving Klaus is the hardcore Easter egg. The main Easter egg is really easy and nothing to worry about at all. The hardcore Easter egg is a bit of a different story. This one is going to require some skill, some patience, and some people that know what they're doing. I did get carried through this, but I did the rest of this stuff completely legitimate without any help. Pressure Cooker, a lot of people struggle with this trophy. I got it first try once I had a good strategy down. Just make sure you have the weapons box available. I used some kind of good weapon from it. You're going to need to have Jack-in-the-Boxes. You're going to need to ration out your special ability and your Jack-in-the-Boxes and your quick revives and armor. But it's really not that difficult. It might just take a couple of tries to get overall. I did it I came close once a few years ago when I was first playing this game. And then I got it within 1 or 2 more tries, normally. Then you have to go back to the Final Reich map, which is the main zombies map. 10 kills from a single bomber explosion is relatively easy overall. Building all variants of the Tesla gun is going to be done while going for the Easter egg, at least the hardcore version of it. 10 zombies with a single Wussling charge is probably going to come naturally. Shooting Dr. Straub, he pops up pretty commonly on the first map, so that shouldn't be a problem. Killing a bomber with a shovel is easy if you knock away their actual bomb. Building a Tesla gun is basically unmissable as it's one of the early objectives of the map. And surviving 3 pest waves without taking damage is a little bit annoying because it's going to require you to survive to round 15, and every 5 rounds you're going to have to deal with the pest wave without taking damage. The DLCs, I don't want to go too heavily into because they're extremely complicated. I highly suggest checking out a trophy guide for them. There's one on there's one on PlayStationTrophies.org. Plus, I wrote guides for 3 of these 4 DLCs, so definitely go check those out over on PSN Profiles. But with Darkest Shore, this is the hardest of the 4 DLCs. You have to complete this, 2 to 3 hour long Easter egg. It's one of the longer ones, which is also going to earn you this trophy. The Pommel, you have to get 250 kills in a single game, which is grindy. The Mutular in the Fog may come while beating the Easter egg. If not, it's a little bit more difficult. 13 zombies with a single Ripsaw shot might be the rarest trophy in the game, but it's really not that bad as long as you have an insta-kill power-up. Uber Springen is the Pack-a-Punch, that's pretty easy. Shooting Dr. Straub, there's a place he constantly spawns early on, so that's pretty easy. Ripping out the spine of every zombie type is relatively easy and part of the Easter egg and other stuff, aside from the Mutular, which is a little bit more difficult. Surviving the beach rush without using the mounted machine guns is extremely easy and will most likely come naturally, and exploring the entire island will come while completing the Easter egg. War Machine's a little bit easier. You have to beat the boss and the Easter egg, which is still, it's not the easiest thing in the world, though. You have the Pack-a-Punch to unlock. You have to reach Wave 15 using only melee weapons, which isn't really that difficult. You have to kill 50 of the new special zombies with the Wonderbus, which is going to take a little over an hour because they only spawn about once per minute. You have to keep one alive on the stage for a minute, but this is actually glitched in a good way and will unlock after about 30 to 45 seconds, which is nice. You have to obtain the blade, which is like 80% of the Easter egg, without shooting your guns, which is kind of annoying, but the melee weapons are powerful enough on this map. Then you have to survive at least 2 full waves in the church after round 20. This trophy is glitched and often takes like 4 rounds. It's not that hard if you have the blade because it's extremely powerful if you're using the standard attack on it, but it is a little bit annoying. You have to kill 250 zombies in a single game with a specific attack, with the weaker attack from the blade for some reason in a single game, which is terrible. That takes forever. You have to collect ammo from every type of zombie by using the Wonderbus. That's very easy. And then killing a Wussling with every melee weapon isn't overly difficult, but this trophy is also glitched and will only unlock for 1 player per game for some reason. United Front is the Tortured Path game mode. You have to complete 100 objective waves, as well as find 25 engineered parts, although many people have to collect 27 because of a glitch in the game. So that's extremely time consuming. You're looking at, a minimum of 25 playthroughs of various maps and completing objective waves and actually escaping with engineered parts. Once you get to be a higher level, the maps are not that bad, especially the first one, but it still takes a lot of time. You're going to get this trophy for completing the Easter egg, but you only have to complete the Easter egg for the 3rd map if you're playing in custom games. Escaping from each of the 3 maps isn't terrible. You have to defeat the final boss solo, which requires a good bit of luck and quite a bit of skill. Klaus only appears on the 3rd map. Ranking up your bureau ranking is going to come naturally with some of the other time-consuming trophies. And you have to escape from every map without using a blitz, which isn't terrible if you're in a 4-player group. And actually, if you do the Easter egg on the final of the 3 maps, it will grant you all the perks for free, but it won't void the trophy, which is awesome. And finally, there's Shadow War. This is the most fun of the 4 DLCs. This one is relatively easy, as it simply requires you to enter the map and find the Pack-a-Punch. A few miscellaneous trophies here that are really fairly easy overall. You have to survive the 4 trials, which aren't terrible. 100 kills with each Raven weapon in a single match, which is unfortunate because the game doesn't keep track of it. And then the Easter egg. Not really a difficult map and a lot of fun to play, especially if you're getting carried through it, because overall I got carried through a majority of this game, because quite frankly, it's got some painful trophies in it, but thankfully it's done. And it's not the most difficult thing in the world, but you are going to want to find people to carry you if at all possible. Sagebrush, this is the North American PS4 version of the game. This is a decent little walking simulator, exploration-based game with a decent little story to it. So this one is worth playing. So you're going to get a few story-related trophies here. I believe everything through here is going to be story-related and unmissable. This is actually a Ratalaika game. The flashlight batteries and the pregnancy test, as well as the 12 audio tapes, are random collectibles that you will find around the map. So you're going to want to follow a guide. I believe Bad Driver has one. Running the bases requires you to like sprint around the 4 bases in the baseball field in the middle of the map. So very easy overall platinum, can be done in, let's see, 850 was the last trophy I earned. 807 seems to be the earliest. So it can be done in under an hour. It can be done in under 45 minutes. It can probably be done in half an hour if you really know what you're doing. Decent little game, worth playing. Next up, Paw Patrol Mighty Pups. Yes, I played the second Paw Patrol game, and guess what? It's better than a lot of the cheap and quick and easy platinum games that are available now. I've said that before. It's a decent game for what it is for being a kid's game. It's way overpriced though. It's usually $40, so I rented it. You're going to get 7 trophies just for completing the 7 missions of the game. I actually wrote a trophy guide for this game, by the way. You have to find all the collectibles, which are pup treats, and the 3 badges for each of the 7 missions. Most of them are easy, but you can usually miss a few of them, so you may want to look at a guide for some of these levels just to make sure you don't miss any obvious ones. Then you have to play every mini game, all of which are pretty easy. 10 consecutive jumps and jump rope is not a problem. The obstacle course in 45 seconds is not a problem. Getting all the pup treats you're going to have to do naturally for other trophies. And finding all the collectibles is going to come from finding all the pup treats. There are a few difficult pup treats, like I said, but most of them are very easy. So overall, quick and easy platinum that can be done in under 4 hours. There's not a whole lot more to say about it. It's just a platforming collect-a-thon with extremely light puzzle elements. The gameplay is fine. It's an improvement over the first one, and it's better than some of these other quick, cheap, and easy platinum trophies out there right now. Then we have another triple stack of Peasant Night, the North American PS4, European PS4, and North American Vita versions. Not necessarily in that order. Was not a big fan of this one. It's a Ratalaika game. Was not a fan of this one at all on the consoles. It plays fine on the Vita, but the game is not very functional on consoles, and I'm trying to figure out what the earliest trophy I got was. So all 3 versions took less than an hour, but just not really a game that I found to be enjoyable. So you're going to get 3 trophies here for completing the first 30 levels of the game. You have to use each type of portal, which is rather easy, and most of those are story related. You have to activate a flame pit. That's going to be the first trophy you get in the game on the very first level. You have to die by Saul, Flame Pit, and Thunder, as well as falling off a level. You're going to die from Thunder by waiting too long to finish a level because you have a very short amount of time. The game is a runner, except that you have a very limited time and have no control over the running. It can only control the jumping. So it's kind of a weird design for a game. The skeleton is the first boss of the game, and he's a little bit annoying to beat. The orc, I think, is just a standard enemy type. The ice level is a level from later in the game, around 40-ish, and you get your final trophy for reaching but not completing level 47. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of this one, at least on console. The game plays significantly better on the Vita, so I would recommend focusing on the Vita version of this game if you're going to do any version of it, because as you can see here, 5:16 p.m., first trophy I got was at 5:06, so I was able to do this version in 10 minutes because it plays so much better on the Vita. It responds better for some reason. But the trophy list is the same between all versions, so it's another 6 stacking Ratalaika game. Just you may want to stick with the Vita versions more than anything else. Next up, Jigsaw Solace. This is another jigsaw puzzle game. To get the platinum, or I mean the 100%, I always want to call it a platinum. To get the 100%, all you have to do is solve 8 puzzles. Any 8 puzzles. Takes 15 minutes of just solving jigsaw puzzles. That's literally all it is. Solve 8 puzzles, you get your 100%. There's not really much more to say about this game. Moving on. Next up was Milo's Quest, the North American PS4 and Vita versions. This is a Zelda, like early Zelda type of game, but you play as a dog that eats ghosts, which is weird, but a decent little game, so it's not a bad one to play. You're going to have to collect a silver and gold key, both of which are rather easy, especially if you're following a guide from like Bad Driver or someone. Collect a bone is going to be unmissable. There's tons of them throughout the world. The gloves are a collectible item that you're going to get early on that's used to move stuff. The helmet, I believe, is earned from beating the first boss, or no, wait, it's earned before you beat the first boss because you need it to beat the first boss. The binoculars and the special glasses are going to be items you get from beating the first and second bosses of the game. You have to kill a total of 20 ghosts, which is very easy and should come naturally while rushing through the levels. You're going to want to play the game in adventure mode only, not in puzzle mode when playing through it, just so that you can avoid solving any of the puzzles. It's going to cut down greatly on your platinum time. Finding a heart and stamina extension are pretty easy as long as you are following a guide. The recovering health is going to come naturally. There's pretty much no way you're going to miss that. The Marshmallow Boo and Super Pumpkin Boss are the first two bosses that are going to give you a couple of items, and that's basically the end point of your main playthrough. Once you get all of those, you're going to want to start up a brand new game on the easiest difficulty in puzzle mode only. Solve the very first puzzle in the game and you will get your final trophy. So this platinum can be earned in 10 minutes. It can be earned like this. It looks like this version took me around 14 minutes, but it can be earned in 10 minutes. The Vita version, let's actually see here. Yeah, Vita version took 8 minutes. So yeah, you can do this in under 10 minutes if you really know what you're doing and rush through it. Easy game, decent game for Ratalaika. Nothing much to worry about with that one. Next up, Lego The Hobbit on Vita. I like the game. I don't like the hub world. The hub world is laid out in a very confusing way. So you have to complete the main story and all of the gold brick challenges. Every level has 10 gold brick challenges and there's 36 levels plus the 15 like bonus levels that you get a gold brick just for completing. Some of these are rather easy, some of them are rather difficult, but you don't have to do all of them in a single run of any level. The last trophy I got was for earning 100 million studs because it took me a while to get some of the stud multiplying red bricks. The quests in the world map are basically just requests that you have to do and bring items to certain characters, but the game doesn't really keep track of which ones you've done. Same with the treasure chests in the world map. And this one is just crafting items on the world map by going to the store. Same with the red bricks, nothing much to worry about with those once you get enough resources, enough money to purchase all of them. Same with the mineral builds. The hidden nodes are just random parts of the world map that you have to deal with. You have to travel through various areas after beating the main story, which is very easy while going for your cleanup for 100%. You have to prod 5 non-quest characters around the world map. That's pretty easy if you know where they are. Place something on all of the Lego plates. There's quite a few of them, so be very cautious about that. Complete all the gold brick builds. You can't do this until you've found every single gold brick because the very final build is at the very end and it just gives you an extra cutscene. The micro levels are the 15 bonus levels in the game that are basically just 3-round arenas. Complete a specific level a second time after completing all of the other levels, which you will probably get while going for your 100%. Then you have various miscellaneous trophies such as destroying all of the roar objects as Bjorn the Bear, which I think is actually required for certain collectibles anyway. 10 kills with Gollum while wearing 1 ring is easy. The fishing spots as Bard is known to be glitched to some people. I didn't run into any problems with it, so what you want to do is use the same Bard for every single fishing spot. Then you just have other miscellaneous trophies as well as purchasing characters, character bios, location bios, and hints, which just require studs. Miscellaneous trophies from various missions, and then a whole bunch of combat trophies, such as deflecting arrows and defeating 4 enemies with a single super move, and then a bunch of story-related trophies. Next up, Zombieland Double Tap Road Trip. This is a decent little Dead Nation type of game. The Platinum Trophy is very easy, and it's not too time-consuming, but it is going to require a little bit of effort when it comes to your controllers. For this trophy, you're either going to need 4 controllers or you're going to need to use the Switch user method for this one, which I'm not very well experienced with because I actually had 4 controllers. You have to beat the 10 levels of the game, which isn't a problem. You have to beat the 5 side missions, which also isn't much of a problem. There's only a handful of difficult parts of both the main story and the side missions. Like, I think it's the 3rd side mission and the 9th main story mission. You have to beat the game in under 5 hours and 45 minutes. Nearly everyone gets this trophy, but apparently a few people miss it. I'm not really sure how you miss it, but a few people apparently miss it, and I'm not really sure what you would do if you do miss it. Zombie Kill of the Week is another co-op trophy. It's going to require you to have at least 2 people in the lobby, and you have to get an environmental multi-kill to unlock it in a co-op game. Also, by the way, this game has no online co-op, so all multiplayer trophies must be done in split screen or multiple controllers. So that's fun. You have to fully upgrade all of your abilities, which is a bit of a grind, but it's very easy to grind those points out by simply replaying the 4th side mission. You can easily get a couple points per run and get through the rest of this by the time you finish everything else. You have to get a kill with every weapon and kill one of every type of zombie, as well as get a kill with every environmental hazard. All 3 of these are easy as long as you keep track of them. A couple of the environmental hazards are a little bit missable, but you can always replay missions. The 88 minutes in a single horde mode would be difficult, but the second horde level, you can actually just hide on top of a barrel and wait for 88 minutes. That's what I would highly suggest doing, because that's what I did. Then you have to just get some multi-kills, which are all easy, as well as collect 100 healing items, which is also pretty easy. I know I'm rushing through this a little bit now. It's pretty late, and this video has gone on long enough at this point, pretty clearly, even if it gets split into 2 parts. Uncharted 4. I'm not going to go over the platinum because I did this a long time ago, but it's basically, you know, beat the game in crushing, beat it in under 6 hours, find all the collectibles, beat the game with a 70% overall accuracy, which you can do all of this stuff in the game while using the tweaks, because the tweaks are unlocked after 1 playthrough, and a whole bunch of miscellaneous trophies. Some are level specific, some are combat specific. There's also 5 multiplayer trophies, which are apparently still completely possible at this point, surprisingly, which is a good thing to know because I did all of them in 1 day when the game released. But what I did was survival, so surviving the 10 stages is easy. Earning 3 stars on every stage on crushing is not. I got carried through this one. I'm not ashamed to say that I got completely carried through this. The team I was with, they certainly knew what they were doing. They told me what to do and just had me, you know, do a little bit of extra damage and stuff along the way. They had a sort of glitch method to kill all of the bosses rather quickly with like jumping onto their backs for stealth kills. So you have to have some practice. You have to have some patience with this. You can either try to get carried through it, or you can spend dozens of hours grinding up to having better weapons and abilities, or you can also spend real-world money on abilities. I mean, I like Uncharted 4, but this is another example of when Naughty Dog made an easy platinum and then a particularly brutal DLC that didn't need to be anywhere near as difficult as it was. Uncharted Tides Port Royale, or Royal. This is another Artifex Mundi game. For this Platinum Trophy, you are going to get a few trophies here all the way through here just by completing the main story of the game, so that's easy. You have to complete 3 minigames without a skip, so once you complete 3 minigames without skipping, you can skip all the other ones, with the exception of the 2 games against the pirates, which you will have to do legitimately, and I suggest backing up your save before just in case you screw up. Same with this one, you're going to want to back up your save before you have to shoot down the net, just so that you get it on your first throw, because it's potentially missable, even though it's fairly early in the game. There's about 30 collectibles in the game, so find all of them. A hidden object puzzle without a mistake. There's a couple of puzzles that are set in stone in this game, so those are good places to get this one. Finish 3 of them without using a hint is easy, because after that you can do the future ones with hints. The hidden object puzzle in under 30 seconds, there's only a few where you can really do this even if you're spam clicking, because you can play this game on casual, you don't have to beat the bonus chapter, and you really don't even have to finish the game. You have to finish about 95% of it. So that's different, but it does make for a rather easy platinum, even by Artifex Mundi standards. So it's one that's worth playing. It's, a 2 to 3 hour platinum. It's not going to be difficult for any players to get through if you're following a guide. So not much more to say about that. Then we have the World of Nubla. This is a North American version of it. It used to have 2 versions called Nubla and the World of Nubla, but now the names have changed. This is one of the OG quick and easy PS4 Platinum trophies from even before My Name is Mayo. The Platinum Trophy is very easy. You're going to get most of your trophies by finding collectibles throughout the world. So like everything through here is a collectible related trophy, so you're going to want to follow a guide for these, as a few of them are relatively well hidden. But the game is very short and easy otherwise, so if you do miss one of them, you shouldn't have much of a problem. You then just have to complete every drawing in the museum and complete all the chapters of the game to unlock all of these other trophies. So, yeah, that's really all you have to do. You have a lot of easy, quick trophies in this one. I mean, this is a very common platinum trophy. You do have to sit through the whole of the credits, though, which takes, 2 or 3 minutes, which isn't really much of a problem. But yeah, just beat the game and find all the collectibles. If you follow a guide, you're not going to have a problem. You can beat the game in half an hour. It looks like 9:42, so this one took me about 40 minutes, but that's fine. All right, we're finally almost done. So next up, Destiny. This is a game that I went back to, not knowing if I would ever get the 100%, but I am very proud to say that I now have the 100%. So, for the Platinum Trophy itself, reversing a decision and rebuilding a jump ship are both basically unmissable early story-related trophies. You're going to have to kill 25 of each enemy with precision shots in single missions without dying. None of these trophies are difficult, but I'm not sure exactly what qualifies as a mission that counts, because apparently some missions don't count. Decrypting 25 engrams is going to come naturally while grinding away for gear. Dismantling items is also going to come naturally while getting gear. A single piece of exotic gear will come naturally while doing all of the main story side missions and the DLCs. A personal vehicle, I believe this one is actually story related as well, for what little story there was for the base game. Legendary or exotic equipment for all slots. You can buy some equipment, or you can just wait until you eventually end up at this point, which will eventually happen. The Grimoire score of 777 should come naturally while playing through the game, though I don't know how much the Grimoire actually still works anymore, if it's even still active. Inspect another player. This one is very easy. I think you just had to hit a specific button or something to do this one during a mission or during like a loading screen. 5 enemies in 3 seconds. If you somehow missed this one, that would be shocking while playing through the game. Then you have to earn rank 1 in Vanguard and Crucible. Crucible is the multiplayer. Vanguard is like strikes and raids and stuff. You have to complete the highest tier of completion in 10 public events. This can include things like Arkan's Forge, as well as normal public events. The highest tier of completion is gold, and it's pretty easy to get for most missions, especially once you're a decently high level. Then you get your Crucible trophies for assisting in capturing 50 capture points, 20 capture points in salvage, 100 kills of each class type, the first kill in a match, 25 kills with heavy weapons, and then this trophy, which I'll talk about in a second. All of these other trophies were very easy to do, but nowadays you might have trouble with them just because modes might be dead. The multiplayer might be fairly dead overall. I mean, it is fairly dead overall. But you can actually boost every single trophy in the multiplayer in private matches, and virtually all of them can be done in 1v1, so with just one other partner. The only one that can't is triple play, as you're going to need at least 2 people, so that when someone leaves, it doesn't end the match immediately, as you have to get a kill without dying against each of the 3 class types. This is something that you probably were not going to get naturally. Then you have the raid trophies. Complete a raid and complete it on hard, which is something that's going to be unlocked while going for all of the DLC trophies. Completing a raid with a full fire team of only your clan members is a little bit annoying, but it can actually be done in the Prison of Elders with just 3 people instead of 6 people for an actual raid. Flawless Raider is, of course, an infamously difficult trophy, but if you have a good team to carry you through it, it's really not that bad. My team did it first try on Crota, which was awesome. 1 try, no resets, we did it. That was great. That really saved a lot of time to be able to get through it that quickly. Then you have to attain Vanguard rank 3, which again is like strikes and stuff. Resurrect 5 players is very easy. You have to complete a strike. You have to complete a strike without anyone dying, as well as complete a strike with a 3-person fire team that are all within your clan. That's another, easy. That's relatively easy as long as you have a group that's willing to do it. 50 Dead Ghosts, these are collectible types in the game. You can do a lot of them in private Crucible matches. That's like 2/3 of the ones you need for this. The other ones can be found around the worlds. Champion of the Dark is an unmissable trophy. You have to fully upgrade a subclass for each class, which is terrible because it takes either a ton of time or a $30 investment into an upgrade pack from the PlayStation Store, because that's a thing. Upgrading an exotic weapon and a legendary weapon just requires you to get a lot of kills with those weapons and then just purchase their upgrades, which may require certain materials, and then another one of those 25 kills with precision shots trophy. The Taken King DLC is really good, and you're going to get this first trophy just by beating the main story. Court of Oryx and Echoes of Oryx are longer, more difficult, and more time-consuming quests, but Old Hunger was the one that held us up the most just because it requires you to get all the calcified fragments, or most of the calcified fragments, and some of them are only available in certain weeks, some of them are only available from certain challenges or certain enemy types, so that was a painful experience that I would never want to go through again. You have to complete the quest to unlock the third subclass for each normal class, so basically 3 playthroughs of the early parts of this DLC, but none of these are difficult. You have to complete the Wolves of Mars quest, which requires a lot of just hunting down groups of enemies and killing them from what I remember. And then you have to complete the King's Fall raid on Heroic, which this raid's actually rather easy. We got through it with very little trouble, just a few deaths throughout it, a few wipes throughout it, so we didn't really have much of a problem with King's Fall, which is shocking given that it tends to be considered to be the most difficult raid in the game. And then there is Rise of Iron. You're going to get 2 trophies for completing the story of Rise of Iron. Activating the Iron Lord artifacts is going to require at least 2 people to ring the bells in the Iron Temple in a certain order. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's this trophy. I'm dumb. So yeah, this is the trophy that's going to require you to play the Iron Bells in a certain order. We'll come back to this one in a minute. You have Glory and Taking of It, which is a quest related to the Crucible for the Supremacy game mode, which is mostly dead, so you're probably going to have to boost it unless you get really lucky with lobbies. Kovic's Sin is a side quest type, or a specific side quest that's rather easy. That was actually my 20,000th trophy, fun fact. You have to complete an encounter in Arkan's Forge, which is basically just a little, survival type arena, public event. Pretty easy just to survive a single event. You have to complete Wrath of the Machine and complete it on Heroic. This one gave us a lot more trouble than the other one did, than really any of the other ones did. Even getting carried through it, it was pretty tough at times. The Iron Lord artifacts is a big grind. It requires you to save up enough, you have to do enough noble deeds throughout the world once per week in order to obtain an item that can then be traded for an Iron Lord artifact, but you don't know which artifacts you're going to get on any given week, to where some weeks you'll just keep getting repeats. So it can take a very long time if you get really unlucky with the spawns for a week or two. But overall, very happy to have Destiny 1 done. It was a really fun game. Enjoyed it way more than I ever would have expected. It's definitely worth playing even today, although you are going to have to boost a lot of the multiplayer stuff and find partners for stuff. The last incomplete game before we get to our 500th Platinum is Battlefield 5. All you have to do for this Platinum is complete the campaign on Hardcore difficulty, which is pretty tough at times. It's actually one of the most poorly designed hard difficulties I've played in a while. So I have 1 mission left, and I'm saving this Platinum for the future. You have to get 10 kills with secondary weapons in a round, which you can boost in community games. You can actually boost everything in this game in community games because they only take 4 people to start, and they actually count for trophy and XP progress, which is awesome. 10 kills in a round is very easy. 10 flag captures in Frontlines would be easy if Frontlines was actually populated, but you tend to have very few matches available of it, to where you might end up having to boost this one a little bit. Play a round of Conquest on each launch map is easy because you can search the maps in the advanced search feature. This is the really hard trophy in the game that pretty much everyone boosts because most people are not good enough at flying planes to be able to do it. You have to drop bombs on, mounted weapons and stuff. It's pretty annoying, but it is pretty easy to boost, and it's best done boosted. Everything else in the game I did mostly legit. Roadkill 5 enemies is fairly easy, just run over them. 30 kills total is easy. 2 squad reinforcements in a round is easy. 10 fortifications in a round is easy. Suppressions are easy. 3 squad members spawning on you is easy. 10 squad revives is easy. Then you have to get these score-related trophies, which are a big grind. The best thing to do is to play the mode where you build a radio tower and plant bombs and then defuse those bombs on it, and just repeat that over and over again until you get enough XP. And you can easily get, your 500,000 within, a couple of hours, as well as the 100,000 for each class. So it's really a very efficient way to boost that stuff, especially because you can do it in community games. So because of that, you could probably get this platinum in like 20 hours if you boosted everything and did the single player quickly. Thankfully, the game has no DLC, which is awesome. And finally, platinum number 500, Far Cry 2. This is not one that I want to go insanely in depth into, purely because I did like a 20-minute long platinum video of the game, which may or may not be out at the time this video's out. But I talked about the platinum for like 20 minutes in the overall trophy video for it for 500 platinums. So I'm not going to go super into it here. I highly recommend checking that video out if it has already been released. If not, it will be released very soon. But to get the platinum trophy, it heavily boils down to you have to find every single diamond in the game. There's 1,000 diamonds from 221 briefcases, 12 assassination missions, and 32 main story missions that you have to complete to get all the diamonds. Now, I finished the entirety of the story in about a month, and it took about 30 in-game hours, which really wasn't bad, including all the collectibles. You can do everything on the easiest difficulty, which makes it a lot better. You have to save a buddy from captivity is unmissable. You have to subvert all 12 subvertible missions in the game. There's 12 of them that you can do this on. You have to subvert all 12 of those for multiple trophies. You have to find all the safe houses in the game, of which there are quite a few. You have to find all 17 Jackal logs, of which the game tends to not track them properly, even though it won't break your trophy. You have to finish all 5 underground side quests to obtain medicine. You have to complete all 8 convoy missions to unlock new weapons. You have story-related trophies. You have to purchase all of the weapons, manuals, and bandoliers for every weapon. Another underground trophy. You have to finish all 12 assassination missions, 6 in the north, 6 in the south. More story-related trophy here. You have to complete 1 buddy side quest. You have to get rescued by a buddy. You have to enter every part of the world. You have to... The switch sides trophies should come naturally as far as I remember, or as far as I can tell from my own experience. The convoy trophy, already talked about that. Other story-related trophies. You have to save a buddy from a mortal wound, as well as at some point you have to comfort one while they pass away, which you can get all of those within just a couple of minutes with a specific method on the PlayStation Profiles guide of the game. You have to rescue all 11 buddies in the game. Already talked about subverting missions. They make the main missions take a lot longer. And then you have 2 more story-related trophies here at the end. The game isn't really that terribly difficult overall if you boost the multiplayer. Just make sure that you have a lot of backup saves in multiple save slots and that you don't ever use the bus while playing through the main story. And if you get a progression glitch at any point, as I did with 73%, go complete a couple of buddy missions and it may fix it. Not should, but it may fix it. The multiplayer require you to have 3 total people for the 2 revive trophies, which are rather easy. You had to reach level 30, which would have taken well over 200 to 300 hours if you didn't have the Warlord glitch. You have various miscellaneous trophies that are rather easy. War Party is going to require 16 total people, 8v8, win a match. But it's not really that difficult because you just have to win it and be on the winning team. I did this multiplayer stuff back in 2019, late 2019, and just finished the platinum in May of 2020, or 21, I mean. Because, I wanted to get the multiplayer out of the way, knowing that the servers could go down at any given time. You have to play around on every map and on every game mode. You have to upgrade a class fully, which is going to come naturally. Already talked about leveling up. If you don't do the Warlord glitch, you're going to be in for a very horrible ride. You have to unlock all of the field manuals for every weapon, which is going to require hundreds and hundreds of kills with every single weapon in very specific ways to obtain this. Plus, the multiplayer and the main story is really janky with weapons breaking and fire spreading and weird accuracy and hit detection and all that good stuff. You also have a couple trophies related to user maps, which have been known to go down for days on end for no reason with no explanation given. So be very careful if you want to go start this game anytime soon. And then, of course, I've also been doing Saints Row the Third Remastered, but that's going to get included in the 501 to 600 video whenever that comes out. So let me sync up those trophies. Level 721, 18%, 20,308 total trophies, though if you take away the 9 trophies from Saints Row, it was technically 20,299 total trophies. 500 platinums, 2,912 golds, 5,441 silvers, 11,455 or 11,446 bronze trophies, depending on how you count Saints Row the Third. So, that is it, guys. Holy crap, this was a long 1 to 2 videos. This is like 5 hours of recorded content. This has been a pretty painful thing to record purely because it's just taxing on my voice a little bit and taxing on my lack of sleep. But that's on me. But I do it for you guys. You guys enjoy these kind of videos, and it's kind of fun to just look back at everything I've done over the last 18 or so months of obtaining platinum trophies and trophies in general since the time of Red Dead Redemption 2. There was a lot of cleanup during these years, which is part of the thing that made this video longer, was because I was cleaning up so many old games, which is fine because, you know, clean up old games means a lot of extra trophy progress and a lot of completion progress to where my list is going to be well over 99% completion someday. I mean, it's hovered over 99% at times. It doesn't always stay there just because I do other games and start them. So in the future, I intend to finish cleaning up my games. I have, I think, 13 incomplete games. That includes Saints Row the Third Remastered, so take out that one, that's 12. Battlefield 5, take that one out, that's 11, because that's one I'm certainly going to do, but I'm saving it. What I think is going to happen next, though, is that you're going to see me do a big rush of platinum trophies, like easy platinums for pretty much the entirety of 501 to 549, and then probably do Battlefield 5 for 550. So it might be a bit of a quick rush through, you know, up until 550. And then after that, I think I'm probably going to be taking a bit of a break from trophy hunting for a month or two. I'll focus on, you know, going back and cleaning up certain games and boosting things as needed. But for the most part, I'll be focusing on just, you know, enjoying life and other games and stuff out there, as well as doing just a little bit of cleanup along the way. My goal during the next 100 platinums is to finish the entire rest of my backlog that I can do. I don't know if that'll quite happen. I think I can get close, but I don't know if the whole backlog will be done, because certain games like Black Ops 3 and GTA 5 will take a long time to finish. Call of Duty Classic is just difficult, and, you know, stuff like that, pretty much. So I'm a little bit flustered at the moment because it's pretty late, and like I said, this has been 5 hours of video over the course of 2 days. Actually, I think it's been over 5 hours of video over the course of 2 days. But I cannot thank you guys enough for sticking with me for all of these years. We've been going strong for 10 years on this channel, trophy hunting for 8 or 9 years out of that. Thank you guys just so much for keeping up with me and watching all these videos. If you guys stay to the end of this 1 or 2 video series, then thank you guys so much. You are awesome. And yeah, I hope you guys will continue to stick with me for the foreseeable future as I continue to hunt trophies. I will certainly hit 1,000 platinum someday. I don't know how long it'll take, because, I mean, it took me, you know, 9 years to get to 500. But I think it will happen someday, maybe even 100,000 total trophies someday, maybe level 999 someday. We will have to see. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Please like, favorite, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the near future for more trophy content and all sorts of other content.